So many teams their team morale is going down because they aren't running the floor, and I'm talking about on defense. So many teams are getting beat back on defense to where before they know it, they're down 8, 10, 12 points. Teams that make runs on you, generally those runs are made in transition or fast breaks. Teams don't generally make complete basketball runs in a half-court set. Teams really don't make runs strictly in a half-court set. Those runs build up momentum due to teams not getting back and running the court, running the floor on defense. So now they're able to get an easy shot. Now they're able to get a quick transition bucket. Now that confidence and that momentum is building up. Now they're able to, bang down a three. Now, they get it going, the crowd get rolling, the other coach like, timeout. And then when that other coach do that, now the momentum is that much greater. Does that make sense? So if teams really just run the floor on defense, that solve half their problems. If you can get back on defense and stop a team's ability to get easy buckets, well, now that team has to think. You see how everything goes back to this? Now that team has to think. Now they have to call that play. They have to run that play. They have to try to figure it out, but they have to try to figure it out on the fly, as opposed to now they just playing off instinct and just off reaction because that momentum is building up and now they just totally charged up. So run the court, run the floor on defense. Good evening. How you doing? This is Coach Carvel Bailey, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Life and Basketball. And what we do here on this show is we talk to athletes, former athletes, coaches, former coaches, officials, former officials, as well as those individuals that have been very influential in the game of basketball. And so we talk about how a little orange ball has helped shape and oftentimes save individuals' lives. And so the show is being brought to you by Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy, where we help student athletes get recruited even if they're not 5-star athletes, right? We help student athletes become the individuals that they need to be able to get the offer that fits them. The show is also being brought to you by Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball. So this is my baby, right? This is the first book. The show was birthed from this book. Everybody I bring on the show, I feel, embodies this term. They use basketball and basketball principles, and they also apply them to life because they are synergistic. And so the show is birthed off this book, right? And so this book has, basketball principles that also applies to life. And so this book, my second book, Creating the Perfect Storm, is more so the mental side. Everybody think that the game is played from the shoulders down. In reality, the game is played from the neck up. And when you understand that, then your performance, athlete's performance, will grow that much greater. And so I'll explain how y'all can get both books later on in the show. But tonight, like all nights, is a special night. I am excited, totally excited to bring to the show tonight a gentleman that has really, I believe, kind of embodied what hard work looks like. Someone that has been a winner at every level. But the good thing about it, that I say the good thing, is because when you win at every level, you can kind of have people in your ear that kind of turn you into a different person. And, before we started the show, I was, saying one thing about this individual is he's always been genuine. I ain't gonna give you no fluff. It's gonna be what it is. But on the basketball court, it's a whole different scene. It's all about winning. It's all about production. It's all about getting things done. And so I've watched this gentleman, play in high school, play in college, as well as throughout his pro career. But I am excited to bring to the show. This person has, again, won on all levels, high school, college, overseas, D-League, NBA. And I want to introduce to some, but present to others, a great basketball mind, a great basketball player, but an even better person. So I'd like to present to you all tonight, Mr. Jarrell Mcneal. Rel, what up, man? How you feeling?
What's going on? What's going on?
Man, welcome to the show, definitely. So tell us a little bit about who is Jarrell Mcneal, the man? We're going to get into the basketball player in a minute, but who is Jarrell Mcneal, the actual person, actual man?
Yeah, for those who don't know, just to be brief, an intro about me, grassroots are all here, South Suburb guy, family, Chicago area, my entire life. So born and raised in the area, grew up Hillcrest Hawk, went on, played college ball at Marquette University, was raised by two wonderful parents, mother and father. Got an older brother, older sister. Currently now married with my own family as well. Two, no kids yet. Just a service member. A member, you know what I'm saying? Member of service, you know what I'm saying? Just I've been unbelievably fortunate in my life to do some great things, to accomplish some great things. To see and experience some great things and be a part of some great things. And I'm unbelievably grateful and blessed for everything that I've been able to see. But more than anything else, I realized that I got a platform and opportunity to give back and try to take all my knowledge, all my understanding, all the things that I've gone through to experience and learn and help the youth. And I'm super passionate about that, as you know, and want to say thank y'all for having me, and just happy to be able to come on and talk some hoops with y'all.
Absolutely, and we are definitely going to talk hoops, and we're gonna help some people out here tonight. Our athletes, our coaches, and especially the parents of our athletes. And the show actually not only is nationwide, but has reached a few countries. So for those people that don't understand what Jerel is saying, he is here in Chicagoland, the south suburbs of Chicago. And so he's probably been to your city, right? Or probably been, to your country. So, I just wanted to put that out there because he did keep it local. But just like, his thoughts, nothing is small. But so let's start off, Rel. What was childhood like growing up in the south suburbs? How did growing up in the south suburbs shape you to be the man that we see today?
Upbringing is important for all of us. We constantly are a product of our environments, whether we want to admit it or not, or whether we always know it or not. So it shaped and formed me in a lot of ways. And, just not just the south suburbs, but just being in the Chicago metropolitan area. I spent a ton of time in the city as well. Did some growing up there as well, just going all over the place, getting different experiences, doing different things. But as we continue to grow, we grow older. You fall in and out of love with things. Some things stick around, some things don't. So, but just growing up in this type of environment, it helped shape me a lot because I think more than anything else, what I took away from it was just the things that were most important for me, and which was just always the sense of community pride, strong community pride, having great tradition in our schools. In our communities, in our family systems, and helping and leaning on and doing for one another. So I think that's something that we all kind of embody. We all kind of see that as our morals. You know what I mean? It's something that we all kind of passionate about and that we all try to instill in our everyday life to this day.
Absolutely. Now, we're about 3 minutes into conversation, right? This is not an interview, it's a conversation.
Yeah, for
sure. But if y'all not taking notes, you definitely want to get you a pad and pen and start taking notes. But you mentioned the word passionate 3 times, right?
Yeah.
But I want to go back for a minute, Rail, because you talked about one of the first things that you said about who you are is you said you're a service member. Talk about being a service member, and then talk about where that passion comes from. Because in order to be a service member, you have to have some passion, if that makes sense. So, like, can you break that down for us? When you say service member, what do you mean by that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, for me, more than anything, it's it took some time to get to this point. It took me going through all the things that I had been through, going from childhood to adolescence to being a man now, to understand everything that what was given up, what was sacrificed to me to get the opportunities that I had, and what those before me had to sacrifice and give up and do for me to have an opportunity. So, you don't get a Jarrell Mcneal or any other great success stories without having people who sacrificed something and made something work, along the way to help you get to that point in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Everybody always wants to say they've done it by themselves, they did it alone, but everybody needs some help. And everybody got somebody in their corner, usually in most cases, that's going to do something to help them succeed in some type of manner. So when I say that, when I say service member, I mean more so as I look at it now as my duty to try to come back and at least reciprocate the same love and things that I had growing up. And, in a perfect world, I want to go above and beyond. I want to try to do more than even some of the stuff that I was able to get coming up as a kid. The more we got, the opportunities are endless, and the possibilities are going to be endless for the kids in our community. So,
absolutely, man, and that. So, I like to take time on the foundation, right? Because we're gonna talk hoops, but the player that you are has everything to do with the person that you are. And the person that you are has everything to do with the foundation. So I like to, take my time on the foundation, not only to establish credibility for those that's listening to understand why you are an expert in the area in which you are an expert in, but also so that when they hear the passion or when they hear the jewels and the education, they can kind of understand where it comes from. Does that make sense, Rail?
Yep, I got you.
So now, you talk about community and understanding community. They always say that, we took the neighbors out the hood, right? It was neighborhood, but then we took the neighbors out the hood, right? Yeah. When you have a community, that's a neighborhood, be it if it's an athletic team, if it's a family, no matter what that thing is. But you said that you wasn't always this way. So I want for my athletes to understand that it's a process. Mm-hmm. And Joel Embiid made it sound sexy, Ray. Trust the process. He made it sound sexy. But it's hard. You know what I'm saying? The process is hard, as you said. You got to go through ups and downs to get to that point to where you are now, obviously.
Yeah.
But you said that you understand that things were given up and things were sacrificed in order for you to kind of be put in position to get the opportunity that you got. Like, 10 toes down, like, to a man, how much did you carry that with you each and every day on and off the basketball court, just knowing that no matter what it is, somebody sacrificed for you to be able to go to an interracial school, for you to be able to play basketball? You know what I'm saying? How much did you carry that with you as a driving force, as that passion? Like, how much did that stay with you, Rail?
I mean, it never leaves. You know what I mean? It never really leaves, man. You carry something you carry with you every single day. For me, it was always a motivating factor, even to this day. Because doing the things that some of the things that I've done, playing on the stages that I've been, going to the places that I've been.
Right.
You find yourself at times kind of trying to find a why. So, so you always got to know your why. Like, what's your driving force? What's your motivation? And that was always one of the things that, that it was somebody that gave up something or somebody that sacrificed something that wanted you to be able to have this opportunity for you to be able to do something more than possibly than they were able to do at one point in their life. So, you never take stuff like that for granted, man, because, it might take a lifetime of work for the next generation to have a glimpse at success. You know what I mean? Like, it might take your lifetime of work just for your son to have a chance to break through and do something special. So, or it might take 2 lifetimes. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. But I was just about to say, just being able to move forward and make that type of sacrifice is something special in itself. So, for me, it always meant something in half-assing it or not going at something wholeheartedly always seemed like a slap in the face to those other people to me. So I always use it as motivation.
Yeah, it's it's funny. And you tap in with some of the things that I do or say the show and those things.
Yeah.
I posted a quote yesterday, and it speaks to what you just said, right? So the quote said, "To give anything less than your best effort is basically sacrificing the gift that God gave you." And that's basically what you're saying. So if you miss an assignment, if you're not giving your all, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And we'll get to this conversation in a minute. But as Coach Ford used to always say, like, talk about sweeping them corners, like everything matters, so now you're at Hillcrest. Let's talk about the Hawks. Let's talk about the blue and white. And for those people that so I name each episode, Rel, based off who I'm talking to, who's on the show. And so the episode for tonight is called "A Proven Predatory Performer." And I don't mean predatory in a derogatory sense, but predatory and what it really is. And when I say that, because you grew up a hawk and you grew up an eagle.
Yeah.
And those are both predatory birds.
Yeah.
And you've shown that with your play on both ends of the court. And now that we understand the foundation, part of that is because the driving force was somebody sacrificed for you. Talk about being a Hillcrest Hawk, though.
Oh man, it means something. It's a special thing. I don't even know if you can necessarily culminate it in words, but what I'm saying, once you're a Hawk, what I'm saying, for all my Hawks out there, they know you're a Hawk for life, and it means something. What I'm saying, when you went to Hillcrest, you say you went to Hillcrest. When you say you played sports, you hooped, you played football at Hillcrest. You know what I'm saying? People, it ain't Hillcrest. No, it's what year. You know what I'm saying? Like it means something. You know what I'm saying? And they carry weight, especially out this way. So, what I mean? It's a special thing, especially for us, because, like I said, we still in the community. We still around the community.
Absolutely.
We got ties up there. We still doing work, and that's always going to be a part of who we are, and what this community is made up of, as long as that school is here.
Now, I find it funny because you said, when people say Hillcrest, y'all ask like what year, right? Because now, how important are the bragging rights based on the year?
I mean, when I was coming through there, it was different. Okay. So let me state that. Okay. So I want to say up until a couple years after we got out of high school, after we graduated, it was only 2 classes. It was Class A, Class AA. He was Class
Right.
AA. It was all the bigger schools, pretty much. All the schools with the higher, but they was all grouped in there together. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? We had one conference, something insane, like 20 years in a row, 12, 16, 18. It was just the ongoing number.
Yeah.
The T-shirt just changed every year, pretty much. And a new number went up. Yeah, I mean, so as far as basketball, it was supremacy, and it had been like that my entire childhood growing up. So I got an older brother and an older sister that went through the school, and they were never not a powerhouse as far as basketball wise throughout the state. You know what I mean? Not just out in this region, not in this area.
Absolutely.
There was always a name where it was like, nah, they got hoopers.
Absolutely.
They always got hoopers, and we always had a ton of talent from the pool that we was pulling from, which is also another reason why I say it's a special place.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, making it practical for the, you know, coaches that are watching, you know, the athletes, you know, and even the parents. Basically, y'all had a standard, and that standard wasn't to, like, if you were coming here, you already knew that there was a standard.
Yep.
And you either had to meet that standard or you wasn't going to make it here.
It wasn't going to work out.
And that standard went beyond just on the court, because I've interviewed a few Hillcrest Hawks, you know, on the show, you know, play Hillcrest, understand all that. But it was some dudes walking the hallways that probably could have been All-Americans.
Oh, facts. Facts. That's what I say, man. And if you're from the area, man, some of the stories about the cats who didn't make it, is more intriguing than the ones who actually had some type of success. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? You always had those stories about cats and things that happened back in the day. But man, I think for all the people who lived through it, man, generations upon generations, that's always another thing.
Yeah.
Man. The community always supported. Like cats don't graduate, move on, and like fall out of touch. Like they all feel some type of connection with it. Not to say it's the only school out here like that, but it's a handful of them, and it kind of do mean something. It's a special environment. So
absolutely. And you know, I mean, as you said, you know, when you mentioned, you know, Hillcrest Hawks, you understand that they had and have had great programs in the state, but they had a great dude sitting in that first seat too. Talk about Coach Capel.
Oh man, Coach Capel's a special dude, a living legend, man. I learned a ton from him. It was cool for me in high school because for me he was like the first coach that I actually had in my life at that point. That was like, oh man, this dude is like a big deal. Like he's a high level coach. He's had offers to coach here. He could, you know, his knowledge is beyond such and such. His name is well respected at the college level as well, and so on and so forth. So he was like the first opportunity for a coach that I had that kind of had that type of makeup. And but more than anything else, I had him in class. Oh. I had him in class as well.
Yeah.
And for all the people who went there and took anybody that took Coach Cap class, man, he was a thinking man.
Absolutely.
He was a thinking man. He wasn't a big yeller. He wasn't an overly animated dude. He was the low key dude over there, you know, with his glasses on and one of his little Christmas sweater and was going kind of like stroll up and down sidelines, but when he needed to make a point, he got his point across. But I always loved him for his for how cerebral he was, and I knew he was a smart guy. And he taught me a lot. You know, not just about basketball on the court, but just about behavior and people and communication, things like that. So you know, I mean, he was a major part of my journey. I was ahead of the curve with a lot of stuff going forward once I moved on from high school. That's for sure. So,
absolutely, man. And I was fortunate enough to, I grew up with all his kids. Play with all of them. At Rich South, we used to, go to, Mr. Capel in them house, and whenever
good
he
people.
sat down with you, absolutely good people. And whenever he sat down with you, he was gonna have a real conversation. And even though Coach Capel won a hell of a lot of games, it was never about winning basketball games. And the reason that I mentioned the players walking, like the great players that were walking the hallway, but it being a standard, as you said, he taught more than basketball. And if you couldn't live up to that standard, you couldn't play for him.
Thanks.
And, nobody could figure that 1-3-1 out.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. A couple people figured that 1-3-1 out, and by the time we realized they figured it out, the game was over. we had a couple bad nights in it.
Talk about that 1-3-1 defense, and again, speaking to Coach Capel, the way that he helped raise and grow all of you all up. That 1-3-1, when you talk about behavior, Coach taught having the right behavior, having the right discipline, having the right communication. That 1-3-1 don't work if y'all don't have that.
Nope.
Can you talk about like what that did in terms of building community, right? Keeping y'all closer together, because and I was at Rich South and then transferred to TF South, but like I've seen Hillcrest Hawks from 85 to the early 2000s. It was a whole lot of fast breaking because they was getting a whole lot of steals. Yep. But like, can you talk about the discipline needed as well as the communication needed to be a good two-way player? Because nowadays a lot of people fail to communicate, and a lot of people aren't very disciplined. So like, can you talk about that?
Oh man, I could talk about that all day.
We got Coach Rob Smith. That's your family right there, Coach Smith.
I could talk about that all day for sure. But I mean, it's huge, and it's like kind of like the way that you said it. Just using that, the trap that we ran for an example. It's somewhat synonymous with kind of like what a team is. For you to have success running the zone in basketball is synonymous with what a team is, because number one, first and foremost, don't nothing work if everybody don't believe in it. All y'all gotta look. You gotta all be again, Rel.
Say that again, Rel. Say that again, Rel, because I don't want that to go past nobody's head. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said ain't nothing gonna work if all 5 guys on the floor don't believe in it. So, and that's a gem for coaches.
Absolutely.
So not to get too far. So you see it in some of your guys like, oh man, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Not to say that you ain't gonna never have that. You're gonna have that sometimes. But those guys at the end of the day gotta trust and believe that what they doing, if they do it hard, they do it well, and they do it right, that it's gonna work. If they don't believe that, it's not gonna work no way. I don't care what you do. It don't matter the scheme. If they don't believe it, you know what I mean? Like they don't believe that. And that base principle out of it's not gonna work. But the zone worked because one, everybody believed in it. We all knew what we were doing. We all communicated with each other, and we all covered for each other. And like I said, it's kind of synonymous for what a team was, because number one, it's a zone. It was a 1-3-1, and it was a trapping full 3/4 court trapping zone.
Yes, sir.
And I used to be at the top of it. So I was the dude who was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, just constantly bothering the ball handlers, trying to get tips, trying to get deflections. And I did cover the most ground because I was starting on the other end of the you know what I mean, of the half court line, picking guys up, pressuring the ball, and
making them uncomfortable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then shrink all the way back down. So if we go full court, and then it would shrink all the way back down, all the way into the half court until all compact 1-3-1 even. We still had our base premise of rotations and who went where when the ball went somewhere.
Right,
and
right.
We had our base premise of moving on the pass, not on the catch. You know what I mean? Like you can't run a zone moving on the catch. You know what I mean? You got to once that ball in the air, you got to be right behind it. Because if you're not, you're gonna be late. And it's going to be an open three, or it's going to be a swing dunk, or an alley-oop, or whatever it may be. So it's kind of synonymous to that. But just on the defensive end, period, man, a lot of people don't know that. I tell people that that's one of the that's one of the biggest signs of a great teammate, man. And, you know, and it took me playing professionally for a long time even to realize that the most selfless thing, not the most selfish, but the most selfless thing that you can do as a teammate and as a player is communicate.
Absolutely.
Letting your teammates know where you are, just always being that voice. And it takes time. It took me years and years and years of experience in playing these games and practices and millions of reps to understand that it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
It's a reason why you feel more confident when you hear your teammate behind you and you guarding the ball one-on-one. I got your help. I got your help. I'm right here. Elbow. It's a reason you feel more confident.
Yeah. And you know, that's a learned skill though. You know, you have to practice. So, you know, even talk to our coaches, you have to practice communicating. And, you know, I tell all of my, you know, you tell my players, tell my clients, the way that you practice communicating is communicating doing everything that you do. Everything. If it's push-ups, if it's sprints, if it's baskets, communicating with everything that you do. But I want to go back for a minute, Rel, because you talked about being at the top of that 1-3-1 and looking for deflections or steals. I personally believe, and this is Carvel's personal opinion, and I do believe, I do call myself an expert at understanding this game of basketball, but I believe that deflections are just as good, if not better, than steals.
It's more important.
What's your take on it? Yep.
Absolutely. It's more important. The way I had one coach break it down to me was that steal is a stat, but deflections kind of they give you a better overall view of activity. So you might not get to steal every time, but if you're getting a lot of deflections, the odds are that either you're going to get to steal or it's going to be a lot more turnovers that night. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to be picking up some extra steals somewhere. You know what I mean? Or the other team going to be turning the ball over a lot more because you're going to be throwing their rhythm off or their shooting percentages might be low. Who knows? But yeah, they're definitely important. That was one of the first people who ever tracked it that I saw was my college coach.
Absolutely, and I love how that's explained. Like, because anybody can just get a steal. You know, the ball can just pop up at anybody. Oh, I got the ball.
Yep.
And it go down in the stat book. But deflections are, you know, the activity. But also on defense, because you talked about that you got to believe in each other. And I feel, again, that when you talk about toughness, you know, you can score a lot of points, but you really find out who tough on that far end of the court. You know, defense don't generally break down on the help. They break down on the rotation.
Yep.
And the rotation comes back to communication. So can you talk about how it's not necessarily, as you said, that first pass, but that trust, if you got to cover my man, somebody may have to cover your man, but I have to care about you enough to not go cover their man.
Yep, because and you know what it all boils down to is being a good teammate, but it's also being either selfless or selfish, because the selfless act is you leaving your man to go over and rotate to that next man because you know that's the right thing that you're supposed to do. You saw that man already rotate and help his teammates, so you know you're supposed to go help him. But the hard part is that you look like a fool and you feel like a fool if you go rotate, he make the extra pass, and then somebody don't come over and help you. So you leaving subconsciously, you trusting the next man to come and have your back and do the right thing as well. So
and now, so I'm a go here for a minute, Rel. Has it ever happened to you? I'm pretty sure it has because you've been playing long enough. How does it make you feel, man, when y'all need that late foul and that dude don't want to foul because he don't want to foul out? That ever happened to you before?
You know what? It hasn't happened in terms of the late game when it's like a dude goes, because most cats, if it's between winning and losing their game, they usually take the foul,
right?
Even though they don't want to foul out. But what's more funny is because playing overseas a lot, that's part of the game plan.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that just playing just basketball on a global level. Like coaches tell you, you know, you don't give up fast break layup. You get an advantage layup. This is 2-on-1 breakaway. I'm close enough to this dude. I see the other guy running. Instead of giving him what I know probably either about to be a foul, 2 free throws, or a layup, and one dunk or whatever, instead of giving him that, foul the dude now before he can get that pass off, make him take the ball on the sideline. Smart basketball. Something that I would always teach if I ever became a coach. So you know what I mean? But I've seen guys who are very, very reluctant to give up those fouls early in games because they don't want to come out. They're like, man, they get one. It's the first quarter. You get on a break. Yeah, it's gonna be a jam. Old lady moment. You know, they gonna hold up their little go ahead, man. They gonna take that layup. Yeah. Don't nobody want to give up the layup. Then, you know, once they gonna get in foul trouble, they gonna be like, man, it's gonna throw off my whole game.
My whole game. You know, you can't hide. You know, especially over there, we're getting to it. You know, you can't hide too many because again, it's all about production. You know, and so you know, it can't be a lot. So now, how was recruiting for Jarrell Mcneal? You know, you had an amazing high school career. Now, how was recruiting for you?
It was my recruiting was okay. It was substantial. I tell people like all the time, like I was on the cusp of being a high major Division I player. I was probably a little bit closer to being a mid major low tier Division I player, but I also had I had offers from most of the Big Ten schools. I didn't have a whole lot of it wasn't Duke in Kentucky. Nobody wasn't busting down my door, but I had good programs offering me. All of the in-state schools. Obviously, I was a parade All-American in high school and all the other stuff. A round ball classic All-American, whatever you can say. So it was somewhat substantial, especially regionally. So. But it wasn't anything too crazy. So my whole thing was me coming out of high school. I was, I say about 6'2", without shoes on, and I was more and like I was still pretty raw coming out of high school. I was more of a late developer as far as skill and everything. So I was an athlete though. So I was really athletic. I was long. I was rangy. And I played really, really hard, and I picked things up quickly. So, and I understood the game, and I always had good instincts and things like that. So, it was somewhat of a cool recruiting process. The thing about me, my biggest focus for my recruiting process was I always bet on myself. No matter what, I always wanted to do whatever I was gonna do against the best of the best. Because I felt like that's always going to be the ultimate measuring stick. If I wasn't good enough, then I just wanted to be like, okay, well, he was better. I wasn't good enough to play at that level. But, so that was my thing coming out. I wanted to play at the highest level possible. When I was coming out, that's when they had just formed the first 16-team Big East Conference. Marquette was going into that. Marquette was like the first major Division I school that offered me. And I had a really cool relationship with Coach Crean as well. So it made the most sense to me. I was sold. I was like, I get to go play in the Big East versus the best of the best, the UConns, the Georgetowns, the Syracuses, the Notre Dames, the DePauls, all that.
Absolutely.
So I said, I'll count me in. And so that's how pretty much everything worked for me.
And so, you know, I want to take my time on this because nowadays, you know, you get so many parents, you know, they may get frustrated because things aren't happening right away. You know, athletes get frustrated. You know, they may think that they got to score a lot of points to, you know, catch the eye of a coach. One thing that you said was that you always play hard. Talk about the importance, you know, and you said, right, you know, you know, parade All-American, everything, but you said that you was still kind of green, you know, you was still learning at that point. I mean, you know, you're always learning, but you weren't necessarily where you thought that you could have been, but you play hard, and yet you still earn all of those accolades and everything. Talk about the importance, you know, because I always talk about it's a difference in working hard and somebody that's hard working. You know, playing hard and playing hard all the time goes back to just hard working, you know, over and over again. Like, can you talk about the importance of that?
It's a skill. It's a skill. A lot of people don't necessarily like to say it or believe it, but I think that's Russell Westbrook's special superpower.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's his skill. Like, they ask you what's the best thing he could do that. Like, he can go out there and play harder than anybody else for the longest amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a real skill. And it's something that's very rare today. But this was always the thing that I looked at, was that once you get to a certain level of playing, and most people hit this, especially if you doing it at a pretty competitive level. By the time you get around 8th grade, junior high school, you done seen some cats from other states, some cats that can actually hoop, and you know, you kind of got an idea of what guys that are going to play at the next level are going to look like. So I think a lot of it comes back to being brutally honest with yourself. Like, I knew I wasn't the most talented person.
Okay. Yep.
So my effort could never be in question.
Yep.
That's just the way I looked at it. Like, it's cats out there that was 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and could jump to the moon and had longer arms, and parents played in the NBA and had all types of DNA makeup. But they were supposed to make it. They were supposed to be the chosen one. You know what I mean? Like, they was born for this, but with me, it was just always that can't ever be in question. If I'm worried about whether I'm giving forth max effort, then I ain't gonna have a chance in hell. So for me, it was always second nature, and it became something that, as I got older, it became something that I used as my advantage.
Absolutely.
I could see you could see it in guys that don't do it. And it ain't nothing. It ain't a better feeling in the world than being on the court with somebody that you know that don't play hard all the time. Yeah. Because for that moment, I can get them to let up, and I know that they dogging it or they ain't giving me max effort. I got them for the rest of the night.
That's that blood right there. You smell that, you know, you see that guy, you know, and you know, Michael Jordan made it cool, you know, to pull on the shorts. So yeah, we all did it. But you can tell when they ain't got nothing else in the tank.
My college coach had a rule: we wasn't allowed to touch our knees. He didn't want to see. He don't want to see no hands on the shorts. Don't go down on your knee. He said when you dead tired, he wants you standing straight up, putting your hands on your hips, and he wants you to look strong. He don't want you just to, even when you hurt, he wants you to still have put on a certain type of visual. Man, all that stuff is interesting when it comes to that, man.
And that goes back, you know, to the mental toughness, you know. But you said that, and so speaking of mental toughness, you had all Big Ten recruiting you, but you went to Marquette, right up the expressway. But you said that you had a good relationship with Coach Crean.
Yeah.
To everybody that's out here, you can go to different, sporting events. I'm not knocking different showcase events, none of those things. But ultimately, coaches are looking to build relationships because they want to know who you are.
Yep.
And then it goes back to what you said earlier, Rel, about can you communicate? But talk about the importance, right? So I want to talk to the athletes now that just, they're really looking for offers to post on social media. Really,
absolutely.
Let's call it what it is. And when we talk about the transfer portal was nowhere near as large as it is now when y'all was in college, right?
Yep.
Part of that reason is because people pick the wrong school going in the door. Talk about the importance, to the young athletes now about having that relationship, right? Like, the importance of building and forming that relationship to understand, and people from the outside, people be like, man, Coach Crean, man, that dude crazy, man, that dude nuts.
Yeah, some love him, some go hate him.
But everybody that I've talked to that's played for Coach Crean, will still run through a wall for that man.
To this day.
So can you talk about the importance of that relationship going in?
Oh man, it was huge, and for me, it meant something. It meant something for me because when I was going through that whole process, I was one of that type of dudes where it was like hearing all the slander and everybody telling me I can't do something, or I wasn't good enough to play here, I wasn't good enough to play there. That's all fuel to the fire for me. So that's all type of stuff I think about. So when everybody else, when all the high major schools was hesitating, like, man, yeah, we recruiting you, we like you. Let me see what this dude's gonna say. I was about to say because my sister was a U of I.
Okay.
And it's funny, I just saw a message from T. Will pop up on here. Yeah. T. Will was down there during that time. So I was supposed to end up down there. Let's just say that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But God had different plans or whatever. So, but we had the built-in pipeline, but it's all good. But yeah, it meant something to me that Coach Crean wasn't afraid to take the leap on offering me a scholarship. He was the first high major program that did. He was the first, one of the first out-of-state programs that offered me a scholarship before a ride. And he was like, I believe in you. I'm going into the Big East. I think you that caliber of player. Everybody else got doubts. He was like, I ain't got no doubts. And I went off. He was the first one. And I got that one. I committed to Marquette without ever going on an official visit. I had been up there and seen them play. And when I was going up there to see them play, it was the same year that D. Wade and Trav and my other boys, Big Rob and all the boys, they went to the final. They went on the Final Four run that year. You know what I mean? So I fell in love there. I'm seeing D. Wade. He was from the crib, and I'm just like, man, this might be a nice little move. You know what I mean? I know he going league next year and everything. So. And I kind of just fell in love from there, and I committed without ever going on an official visit. Just built off that. Like he had enough belief in me, and the rest I felt like the way I went into it was like the rest of it was my work. He didn't promise me nothing.
Yep.
No playing time, no jersey numbers. That's all at the back. That wasn't the last thing on my mind too. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I said. That was more so my perception than it is. I can't speak to 2021's kids or 2020 kids' perception of how they outlook things. My whole thing was I wanted to be successful that bad that I wanted to play at the highest level. I wanted to get my foot in the door and have a coach that actually believed I was pretty good. And the rest of that, I was gonna do the rest. You know what I mean? That's just how I looked at it. Get my foot in the door, give me 3 hots in the car, and I'm cool.
Yeah. And I always, speak, the truth here, even if it hurts. But, you said that you went to a school with somebody that believed in you. And therefore it was easy for y'all to believe in each other as teammates. There are some
scholarships out here, we know that all offers aren't the same offers. And then there are some offers being offered to some young people, not necessarily because the coach believes in you, but I'd rather get you so Jerel won't have you. So you were able to see, you know, and those are things that people don't really talk about all the time. But you was able to see the genuineness and Coach Crean. Now you step on campus, you know, and as you said, playing for Coach Capel, that transition was pretty easy. But now everybody want to go Division I. Now you Division I. Talk about the day in the life of a Division I athlete, like the not sexy part.
It's break you down, build it up again. I'll be God honest with you. My first workout at the college level was a lift. Our strength and conditioning coach was such a crazy dude. His name was Scott Holtz. I was still coach to this day. Great guy, man, unbelievable at what he does. This is how he did the rookie. So it was 5 freshmen, and it was like, you know, our first lift. Like, y'all got an all manual lift. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. Everything that y'all learned about a weight room up to this point been BS. Y'all don't even know how to use the equipment. We got to teach y'all everything over again. So it was just an all manual workout. And I tell you, I went home that night and I was trying to figure out how I was gonna make it through the next day. That was the only thing I was thinking. I was so tired. I'm talking about physically past the point of exhaustion. You know what I mean? 2 times over anything that I thought that I could do.
Yeah.
Like I've already exceeded 2 times over everything that I physically thought that I was able of doing in high school. So the demands are that much more physically. And that was just my thought process. I was like, damn, I can't quit because my daddy ain't gonna let me come back home. Like, I don't know what's about to shake, because I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through no 4 years. Let alone you start trying to, you know what I mean, wrap your head around 4 years. And, you know, and that's one of the great thing that college teaches you. It's a great teacher as well. It's a teacher about life, not just sports, like you said. Is just taking one day at a time. I ain't got to worry about that. I ain't got to get through the next 4 years all at one time. I got to get through tomorrow. I got to get through today. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah, let's knock it out. I don't know how I made it today, but hey, it's over. We go back to the room. That's what we did. That became our routine. We don't know how we made it today, but we go back to the room. We talk about it. We ice up. We wake up the next day. Your feet hit the ground, and you do it again.
Do it all over again. Yeah. You know, and I tell people, like, even as a walk on the UIC, but the schedule, you know, like you talk about lifting, but you know, you got a time, or, you know, you got individuals, and that may consist of lifting or on the court, depending on
what day it is.
You know, you got to go to class, you know, you got to go to breakfast, you know, and then, you know, you may have to go film session, you may have to go to the training room, you know, and then practice, and then study hall, you know, you may have media, and all of those things aren't optional.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Like, hey, as bad as you want them to be. As bad as you want them to be. Don't play that game, because hey, look, that'll make a long day even longer. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing is optional, you know, and it's all like practice, you know. And you know, especially now, is it true, Rail? Inside information. So is it true? Because I want to say Todd said this one year at camp. Is it true that every game at halftime you got on the machine to remove the lactic acid out your legs? Was that you?
I don't know if that was me or not.
The one to get on and then shake your leg.
Oh no, I don't think that was me. That might have been somebody. That had to be somebody else because I hated that damn. I hated that damn. That's that power play machine.
Yeah, yeah.
Only time I would even get on that thing is when we lifted weights. And I'll be lazy and I ain't really feel like getting loose and stretch, and I'll hop on there for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
But not never around no game. I don't
Somebody said,
it had to be somebody else. Yeah.
Somebody said, halftime, like, before y'all went through the talk, like they had to like get that lactic acid out. But you played with a tremendous group of guys, a whole lot in the NBA now. A boatload of other individuals that have all played professionally. Yeah. It goes back to what we talk about standards. You played for Coach Crean, and the one thing that I learned about Coach Crean, what Chap told me is that Coach made sure that y'all was in school in the summer too.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of high school athletes may not understand. Like you ain't just coming home the summer to kick it. Like, can you talk about them grueling summers? Like, what is summer like?
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes you be happy when school start back. But yeah, you depending on who you are, and even with Coach Crean, he depending on what you had going on, who you was, what the situation was. He was more lenient or more, what I mean? Like he wasn't killing guys for going home, especially if you stayed somewhere close by. Okay. But he cared, man. And that was, like our father figure, since obviously we weren't with our parents, we was out on campus, and he wanted to know, what Cass is at, like what you doing, just something like. But all that trusting guys to go home and stay in shape and be working on their game. And I'm talking about a real life basketball fanatic. He got a game plan for you, everything you need to work on this summer. It's already wrote out how many shots you need to get. All you do is got to fill in, the pieces. So
hey, I don't talk about it often, but me and Steve Taylor had this long conversation because he didn't understand. To your point, he was like, Coach, man, I just went home for the weekend. Like, I was working out. He's like, man, but they tripping right now. Like, cause I ain't call them and like let them know like what I was doing. When you on that next level, even when you go home, you still got to track. Like nothing is really improving if you're not tracking it, and that's just throughout life. If you're not tracking what you're doing, it's really not working, or you can't make it that much better. And so, speaking of tracking, you wanted to see what the tracking was going to be going into the NBA. After junior year, you threw your name, in the hat, and then you ultimately came back. But talk about that process. You have a great first 3 years. Name is ringing. Y'all have some success. What prompted you to put your name in the hat, and then what prompted you to come back?
For me, so leading up into that year, it was I had a pretty steady progression, like at the college level as well. Like my freshman year, I started off, I was a role player, defender. My sophomore year, I won Big East Defensive Player of the Year and was second on the team in points, averaging almost the most points on the team. And then by junior year, kind of like I was the best, pretty much like the best two-way player in the league. And after that year, we went to the tournament. We came up short, lost a heartbreaker to Stanford. On a crazy one shining moment shot from Brooke Lopez.
Yeah.
Like, he shot the hook from like behind the backboard or whatever. No reason to bring that up again. But yeah, after that, my mindset was just pretty much that after that loss, that summer, well, I'm gonna say that spring is when Coach Green left. And he went to Indiana, so he took the job at Indiana. So that was huge. My entire class, like our big three, me, Wes, and Dominique and James was all juniors and had one more year eligibility. Neek had put his name in the draft already his sophomore year.
Okay.
And he really could have left after his freshman year and probably been the first round pick.
Right.
Wes hadn't entered his name at all yet. And I hadn't entered my name at all yet. And they had changed the rules at this point where you got one, so you can enter your name and not hire an agent and still come back to school. So for me, the biggest thing was that I was playing at a high level. I always had, obviously, you always had dreams and goals, personal goals for yourself to play at the next level. So obviously, the ultimate goal was always I did want to play in the NBA and play at the next level. And I thought I was good enough to do so. So I, if nothing else, I wanted to throw my name in the hat and see what type of response I would get and try to garner as much feedback as possible. And that was the biggest thing for me. It was I came out. One good friend of mine and in person in our school, Mike Broker, who still works in the athletic office today. He had NBA experience, so he took care of me through that whole process. He was like my contact person, just looking out for me, so I didn't have to deal with nobody outside of the rim that I wasn't comfortable dealing with. And, set up any workouts, anything else I have. He's talking to NBA people, so I got the feedback. And the biggest thing was, we know he's a great defender. He can get to the hole. He can do this. He can do that. We know he can, you know what I'm saying? But we want to see if he can continue developing his outside shot or whatever. See if he can shoot better from the three, whatever. So that was like another focal point. It was something else that I need to come back my last year and improve. So that was my focal point and more motivation for me going forward. And I came back my senior year, and then I had blew the doors off everything, and I had my highest scoring average. Shot over 40% from the three for that year and everything. So,
and just a little numbers for my notes here. Big East, all first team, is second team All American, defensive player of the year, all time leader in steals, field goals made and field goals attempted, seventh in assists, third in games played. All time in field goals made and field goal assists. When I read that, and most people may laugh, but that signified trust to me. If a coach gonna call your number to where you get the most shots over the course of a 4-year period, one, it means that you had to be durable enough to play enough games. And then you had to be trustworthy enough to be able to have the ball in your hand. But then I got to thinking, and I'm like, wait a minute, Carvel. Jarrell Mcneal has always been really known for defense.
Yep. That's how it all started.
How many of them, what percentage of that percentage shot was on fast breaks? Like what percentage would you say of your college points came off fast breaks?
Oh man, that's a good question because we was a running gun team for sure. So if I had to put a percentage on it, I would probably say somewhere between. It had to at least be high 30%.
Yeah. Okay.
Close to 30 or 40%. Because I also that was one of the ways I looked at things differently, and throughout the course of my career, I actually became a guy who was known as I would say when the book was wrote on me, he was a two-way player, two-way, defender and a scorer. A guy who could attack and do stuff on both ends. It was always intriguing to me, just being a two-way player. That scoring to me is putting points together. So I looked at it in a different way than most people. If I can get a couple steals and get some breakaways, it's not just good defense and getting stops, it's also points, you know what I mean? It's another way to generate points as well.
And it's building up that momentum to now you can hit that three. Now you can hit that mid-range jumper.
If I can get a couple offensive rebound putbacks, if I can mix a couple of them in, that's another 4-6 points that I can add on, you know what I'm saying, to my overall scoring average. Great scores find a way to score. That's what people understand. The best of the best scores. Scores, you got some guys that are volume scores. You want to be efficient scores, be a well-rounded scorer, be a guy that runs hard in transition. I like the intro clip that you had, just about running hard all the time. Like people don't understand. It's points. It's points there. It's points. You do it enough consistently. I guarantee you, you're gonna get 2 or 3 layups a game just off of outrunning somebody or being the first one down the floor. Offensive rebounds, movement off of the ball, being able to read cuts, being able to read your man as the help defender, knowing what your man doing as the help defender, being ready to shoot the ball even when you don't got the ball. It's all important things. Like when you can average 20 and not have heavy usage, you'll be impressive. Like that's why I tell guys, like I get in. Like I know it's easy to watch NBA games now. You see a guy, top players. I'm not saying they're bad players, but the better players or the guys that are always in the MVP race, the LeBrons, the Hardens, Luka Doncic now, the Westbrooks, those type of guys. They heavy usage players. Yeah, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but
it wears on you.
You're gonna get those numbers when you always got the ball in your hands. You always run the pick and roll. You always playing ISO. You always making a pass. So you're gonna get the assists. You're gonna get the points. You're gonna get the rebounds. You're gonna get all the usage numbers. It's much harder to be able to score 20 in the course of a basketball game, being the guy who not running all the pick and rolls, the guy who playing off the ball. But those in turn become the guys that become even more valuable because they're great scorers. So imagine what that guy can do if I upped his usage. You know what I mean? He don't have to have the ball to be able to make a bucket or score. He can score without the ball. He can move off the ball. He's willing to run the floor. He's ready to catch and shoot. He gonna set picks. Yep. People don't know that, man. One of the best ways getting open, and it's also unselfish. Be a great screener. Be a great screener. I promise you, you'll be amazed at how many times you catch a ball and damn, I'm wide open, huh? Be a great screener. Get other people open.
Did y'all just hear that? One of the best ways for you to get open, right? To my athletes listening, if you want to get open more, set screens, right? And not only like, the universe is almost like, man, as you said, real, like I'm open, but most defenders nowadays don't really know how to play screens. So they, do I go here? Do I go there? You set that screen, you slip it, you open up, pin them, whatever it may be, but you have to kind of understand the game. And on the flip side, and I see this a lot in high school, and I really don't like it, but I'm not a high school coach. A lot of high school coaches have resulted to pick and rolls, but the pick and rolls is more ISO, right? Like you've been on that next level. Mm-hmm. You have to, you talk about Coach Capel and being a cerebral type of individual. You really have to know the game in order to be a great pick and roll player. I mean, what's your take on it, real? I mean, people think, the pick and roll, okay, we're going to call this 4-out pick and roll, it's an ISO, but that's really not pick and roll basketball.
I completely agree. And basketball is it's an intricate game, man. So it's a lot of different things or different ways or different scenarios where things can go, where it can trick you into thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
Some guys that they pick and roll scores. They're not great pick and roll players. They can use a ball screen. They can get their own shot off.
Right.
Or they can be effective getting downhill or attacking mismatches or making tough shots over bigs, whatever it may be. To be a great pick and roll player, one, you got to be a great passer. You got to not only be able to shoot and score as a threat, you know what I mean, but you also got to be able to make what I call is rotational passes.
Yep.
That's might be next level for some, but
no,
like
go ahead.
In a pro,
Go ahead. Break it down. We keep everything practical.
Yeah,
so go ahead. Break it down.
So pretty much it's, you know, you see guys come off here, use a pick and roll, and he gonna go because it's basketball is a simple game, but like I said, it's very intricate and it's a lot of different phases to it. So you see a guy coming off pick and roll, he gonna go until somebody stops him. Usually the guy stopping him is the screener's man. Screener's man is usually going to be open in that case, and nobody comes to help in that situation. Yep. So that's why you see a guy run the pick and roll, lob, alley-oop, dunk, bounce pass, pocket pass, dunk, whatever it may be, dunk, no help side help. So a rotational pass would be putting in your mind already that you're not going to have the first pass, the open guy. The roll man's not going to be open. And that's how it usually is at the pro level. In most cases, don't get me wrong, everybody makes mistakes and throughout the course of the game. But
that's the easiest cover, though.
Yeah, it's the easiest one to cover. So if nothing else, you better be able to stop the roll man from getting that layup and make him throw the ball out.
Right.
And the rotational pass would be him throwing the ball out, but not to the first initial pass, because it's just like that. You're going to have one initial pass, boom, boom, and there's going to be an X out usually on the back end with one guy going to have the first pass out and the other guy going to have the next pass out. That's how it's going to work. But, yeah, you got to be able to make – you can't just be able to make the lob or throwback pass. You got to be able to make passes that's not going to necessarily get you an assist. You got to be able to make passes that's going to get your teammate an advantage. Like that's how it becomes at the pro level, because you run a pick and roll at the pro level. Your pick and roll is doing nothing but just to gain a slight advantage. You want the defense playing from behind, and then you work from there until you get your open shot, and the ball determines who's going to get the open shot. Not the guy that's running the pick and roll. He just going to make the read, and it's going to manifest itself to him. So.
Right, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier about not necessarily getting beat on a help as opposed to getting beat on a rotation. And so that rotational pass is understanding the language of basketball, being able to communicate, but that pass has to be where that gap is going to be.
Absolutely.
And it takes, again, when you talk about community and trust, it takes people to understand the game, but also understand each other. So can you talk about KYP? You know, a lot of people don't understand KYP. Can you talk about KYP, Rel?
Okay, just so in the perfect way before I forget about it, picking off on what we just left off on, pick and roll. So in the KYP situation, you got a guy running the pick and roll. You got two guys on the weak side. You got one roller. You got two defenders, I say, on the weak side, two shooters on the weak side, one roller. So it's essentially like a weak side eye. You're going to absorb the roller. In most cases, that top guy, who the high guy, is going to have the first pass out.
Yep.
If the guy in the corner is shooting, let's say, 30% from the three.
You can't really lead him.
And the guy from the wing shooting 45.
Oh, well, no.
So your coach might tell you KYP. That would mean on the closeout situation, on the pass, it would go to him. One guy would be a short closeout. The other guy would probably be a run him off the line. That's just knowing your personnel, knowing what guys like to do. You got a guy who is really good playing ball screens, coming off on a strong hand, going to his right. You might, as a coach, you might want to weaken him. You might want to make all his pick and rolls, make him use his left hand coming off the pick and roll line. I don't give a damn where he at on the floor. We force it every week and everything. He gonna use his left hand to make a pocket pass. He gonna use his left hand to make a hook pass, or he gonna do something that's off balance or out of traditional. You know what I'm saying, something that's gonna make him uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's KYP. You know what I'm saying? This guy likes to drive all the way right. He likes to pull up going left. You know what I mean? It's KYP. So I know he going hard all the way right. If he going left, then I'm playing that pull up. I'm on it. I'm trying to make him beat me, go all the way and beat me with a left hand layup.
Absolutely. And for those individuals that still don't get it, is know your personnel, right? Knowing who's who on the court, right? Understanding, like really doing your homework. You know,
absolutely.
The successful teams, successful players, successful athletes.
Yeah,
they do their homework.
I say it's more important for your team too. For your team, I use a lot of examples for knowing other players' teams or the person you're playing against, but really important. It's a second nature for guards, especially point guards. Like as a point guard, your job is to always make sure that you putting your guys on the court in a successful position. You wouldn't throw your big man a pass at half court and make him have to take 4 dribbles to try to get to the rim and dunk unless he's wide open. You know what I mean? You want to give him the ball, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want your shooters, you want to get your shooters' feet set and facing toward the rim or wide open looks when you pass them the ball. KYP, you want to know where your shooters are. You want to know at the end of the games who's a good free throw shooter. If the other team got a foul, you know what I mean? Like, it works both ways. It's really just about being aware, knowing your teammates, knowing your opponent, and it's a very important part.
And that's probably the best word for it, like in the most simplistic form, just being aware, right? You know, being aware of who's on the court, what's happening on the court, you know, what could potentially happen on the court. And, you know, again, all of that, you know, is, you know, Coach Justice said, right, is about doing that homework, understanding not only you, but on offense and defense, you know, knowing how can you help your team gain an advantage, you know, and I think that's powerful, you know, because oftentimes we think about, you know, we're thinking about everything, but ultimately, that goes back to selfless again, right? And this is why we spend so much time on the foundation, because now that you're talking and everything that you're saying, everything will always goes back to the first 10 minutes, right? That foundation. So if y'all haven't seen it, you definitely want to go back. But a lot of athletes get lost, Rail, on the communication, and so us just having this conversation, you talked and said a whole lot of basketball terms.
I was about to say terminology.
Terminology. Coach Capel may haven't didn't say it like Coach Crean. Coach Crean maybe didn't say it like Coach Buzz, but basketball is universal. But you have to, and I'm pretty sure, especially with the language barrier when you go overseas, you have to be able to put it together very fast. And where I see a lot of college freshmen going back to that, you know, transfer portal, a lot of people get lost, or again, the business side. Your coach left after year 3. And went from one prestigious school to another prestigious school. You had to now deal with, and even though Coach Buzz was on that staff, but now you get introduced to the business side of basketball too.
Absolutely.
Because what people don't know, you at that point, you know, coach leaves, again, knowing the rules, it's a little different than if, you know, your coach leaves, you probably get out that thing. But talking about, you know, now your coach leaves, so now it's the business side, and now you come back and you play for Coach Buzz, which is a whole show by itself. And when we talk about trust the process, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say this, Rail. I don't know if you could play for Coach Crean had you not played for Coach Capel.
Right.
And I don't know if you could have played for Coach Buzz had you not played for Coach Crean.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
All that whole process.
Yeah.
But now we talk about Coach Buzz, man. My first year working camp, man. Coach had been there, I think, a couple years, and I've never met nobody like this dude, man. I met Coach Buzz, man. We was in Houston at the Final Four in Houston, and I saw Coach Buzz. He was leaving one of the parties with his wife. And I stopped him. I was like, Coach, man, can I come work camp? I'm eager. I'm on the college level. I want to work camp. He was like, okay, call Coach Brad. Like, call him tomorrow. Called him. Brad got me going, got me good. But
Coach Autry,
Coach Autry,
that's my guy. Great
good
guy.
dude, man. You talk about like this is a guy that understands numbers, and when you talk about very cerebral.
Some weird stuff, right? Some weird, like, yeah. That was analytics before analytics.
Before analytics, like I've never met anybody like that. He got it all. It's all in the back of his head. But the growth, again, Coach Capel grew you, Coach Crean grew you. But Buzz Williams does something with his guys that's almost magical. Can you talk about, and not taking away from Coach Crean because you explain who Coach Crean is, but can you talk about Coach Buzz, man, and just the level of interest that he has in his players, how that helped take his players to a whole nother level?
I mean, it goes a lot back to something you said earlier. It's just about just the biggest part about relationships.
Yeah.
When that's the foundation of everything that Buzz Williams has done. That's the foundation of everything he has accomplished. That's why he's great at what he does. So it's not X's and O's. It ain't. It's his relationships with his players and the fact that people can genuinely feel and know that he cares about those dudes and the people that play for him. The rest of it, I mean, don't get me wrong, he has great life lessons and, he puts you in great situations to be successful and things like that as well, as far as the coaching aspect. But for me, he took the basketball out of it. It had nothing to do with basketball. It was a mental game. It was tough man competition. It was bigger than basketball. It was beyond all that. And it was at the perfect point in my life where I was going into a transition, essentially coming out of college and becoming, being a grown up, my own man and everything. So it was right on time. But yeah, he makes everything he does about relationships. And him doing so, like I said, just your success is always going to be, dictated off of those relationships. And
Absolutely.
He's been successful everywhere he went. He's won everywhere he's went. He's got a ton of guys that are playing, that are doing great at the next level, that play next level. Some of my old Marquette guys, like, man, he does his thing, man, and I rarely ever run into anybody that has anything negative to say about him, especially guys that play for him. So.
Right. And I know when he caught the backlash the year when he did the salsa at half court at West Virginia.
Oh yeah, that's when he was doing the little dance, country roads, country roads.
But I heard you mention, Rel, prior to coming back, man, you talked about, and I really want you to break this down because I think that a lot of people settle for less than what they deserve. And a lot of times they settle because people are putting things in their ear that may not be the right thing. You've always kept your circle tight, but Coach Buzz has a quote, right, that says, like, you always want to go through the front door, not the back. Can you break that down?
Yeah. So he used that one on me too. When I was actually, that was one of the things he said to me when after he got the job, and I was still had my name in the draft, I wasn't sure whether I was going to come back or not yet.
Right.
But I was just obviously we had a great relationship. I know him, and I was actually excited and relieved that he got the job instead of somebody else. It was somebody that I knew, somebody who wasn't going to burn everything down and just ruin everything that I felt like we had built up over those years. So that was cool, man. And I was just telling him about the feedback and everything that I was getting through the draft. He's pretty much just like, like my projection and everything. That's like one of the things he said to me. It's like you always want to always leave out through the front door and not the back. And it was just like, I ain't necessarily per se know what I mean. First of all, I'm a saying person. He one of them dudes, like, like Southern dude, super. Yeah. He probably got a book full of them, man. That they probably go on for open. So that was one that always hit home for me. And I liked that one. I was just like, it made perfect sense for what I was going through at the time. It was just like, pretty much just like, you don't want to be sneaking out of nothing or running away something or going out on necessarily somewhere wasn't as bright as the way that you came into it. You want to go out the same way that you came in, with dignity, with pride. So, and something you can be proud of. So that's what I took it as in my mind. So
yeah, that's deep there. And putting yourself in position again, putting yourself in position to gain an advantage and to be successful. So it has to be the right fit. I tell parents and athletes all the time, again, you had a whole lot of schools that was looking for you, but you went to the one that was the right fit. Before we leave talking about Marquette and leave out of Milwaukee, talk about that Wisconsin rivalry, man. I didn't know, right? I didn't know. Mm-hmm. First year working camp, got to be there 7:30. Coach Autry, got the energy is just
crazy, right? Yeah,
we got Barb, she doing breakfast, the
bright and early. Bright is early. Crack a dawn. He's like, what the hell going on?
And so the second day of camp, man, I walk in. First day of camp, I got my black Nike coaching shirt. I don't think they gave us shirts. They gave us shirts that year to the next day. Yeah. Next day, man, I'm like, okay, I've worked camps before. I ain't necessarily got to wear the school shirt every day.
Every day, right.
I'm about to put on my other Nike coaching shirt. Man, it was a red Nike shirt.
Oh, no, yeah.
Man, we was in the meeting, man, and Chap always sat in front. Chap looked at me, was like, "Van, what you doing?
What you doing here?"
He said, "Man, you better come out that shirt before Buzz Walker here, man, or Brad." Talk about that rivalry, man. Talk about and they played this year, and you commented on it and everything. Talk about that rivalry between Marquette and Wisconsin, man.
Oh man, it's a big thing. You don't really get the full gist of it, man. I guess I ain't get immersed in it until I got up there, man. You get the feel for it. But yeah, man, we got Wisconsin in us for life after those 4 years, man. Especially in the city of Milwaukee, man. That's like still to this day my second home, and get mad love up there, man. And all the people are always just so welcoming, just on campus and everything as well. But yeah, once you got up there, though, man, you see everything going on. And it's always funny because, we don't got no football program. So,
right.
They run the state all summer, all fall. You know what I'm saying? You see Wisconsin stuff everywhere you go. But it's usually, mostly football merchandise or whatever.
Right.
That kind of, after a while, after 4 years, after years, it kind of started building up. But it kind of irritated me a little bit, especially when we was there, because it was like our basketball program was top notch, and we kind of became a staple as being like a nationally ranked team, a pretty good team, a powerhouse in the Big East and everything. So I thought we kind of got like a little bit of a smack in the face as far as the amount of attention you got. But it was also Wisconsin. It was a state school, the big schools in Madison and Capital and all that type of stuff. So you got you develop a really fond hatred of it, man. And then you got the rivalry game, which that you do every year. It's usually always the two best teams in the state, so it's kind of like a battle for supremacy. But man, this is what you want to do, man. You want to beat Wisconsin, but you never want to lose to Wisconsin. It's a bad feeling. You want to beat them every chance you get. Every chance you get, you want to beat them. See y'all next basketball season. Y'all get whatever y'all can do. Ohio State gonna win the Big Ten in football anyway.
But it goes back to standards, right? You talk about, as you said with Hillcrest, it was not only a tradition but standards, and so now you go the Marquette standards. So now you get the opportunity, man. College is over. You have a great career. Now let's move on to the big leagues. You get opportunity. You have a few stints, summer leagues and, call up, I believe, like the Kings, the Clippers, the Hornets, the Jazz, the Raptors, the Suns, so you've proven that you can play on that level, in the D League, been an all-star, overseas have been, a champion. What's the one constant, Rel?
Man, for me, it's always been the key to it for me is always trying to have team success. It took me a while to learn that as a pro too. That because you find yourself worried about not just you get reality hit you. You're not just worrying about numbers no more.
Right.
You got the real world. You got mouths to feed. You got bills. You worried about your next paycheck and your next financial situation and why numbers looking like this or how I make the next step up. And a lot of guys miss out on that, especially guys that are young and starting off. They always average 20 here and there. It's rigged. No, it ain't necessarily rigged. Averaging 20 won't get you nearly as far as it will win the championship.
You
know what I'm saying? Averaging 10 points on the championship team will get you might make double the money you made the year before, you know what I'm saying? But you might averaging 20 on second and bottom team in the country or the division. There's probably a lot of guys that they might be able to bring in that could do that.
Right.
Just from a number standpoint, they don't necessarily make the team. They ain't gonna translate to making them a better team or taking them out of situations that they in overall. So that's always been one of the keys to me. And I always say I try to leave a situation. I took pride in that. I try to leave a situation always better than what I found it. So whatever the team done or has done prior to me, I always make a strict mental note of that. The history of the team, where they've been, championships they won, players that have played for them, especially right before I get there. And a lot of times for me, I take it to heart and I take everything as a challenge, and I always challenge myself, and I expect a lot out of myself. So I always look at it as I ain't a basketball player. I make cultural shifts.
Yeah. Oh.
I try to come in and change the culture of a team. Not to say that in an egotistical way, but I do that by trying to be myself completely, wholeheartedly, and honestly, and leading by example, showing y'all guys every single day what it look like in practice. And I hope that everybody able to receive the message the same way, something in a positive fashion. Because a lot of times the message ain't easy either. Because like I said, I'm a passionate dude. So
absolutely.
So I ain't the easiest person to deal with all the time either. So
and the message sometimes is generally not received well. What I found out, Rel, is because oftentimes it's the first time that individual is hearing something like that.
No, absolutely.
Because it's so much wrong that's being spewed as right. But now when you talking, right, and I go on a limb, and I've had some great individuals over the past 5 seasons, but I don't think I've had an active player on this show and probably close to 200, 225 episodes that said that their number one focus is team success. That's a whole different mindset. And as you broke it down, coaches, even as a college head coach, I would rather have the 10th or 11th person on a winning team than maybe that 3rd or 4th person on the even that 2nd person on the losing.
I know exactly what you mean.
Because when you talk about culture and when you talk about community, you might have been the 11th, 12th person, but you know how to win and you know how to be professional.
Yep.
And a lot of people think that you don't have to be professional until you get to the pros. On the high school level, you need to be professional. The college level, you need to be professional, and beyond, you have to. And as you said, I had Coach Gene Cross on, a couple, shows ago, and he was just saying, especially from that level on, the D League level and everything, it's not really that guys can't play. They can't do that.
Something else. It's not 90% of the time. And I know Gene know for sure. I was about to say that's Gene a good dude. I've been knowing Gene for like he recruited me a long time ago when he was at DePaul. He was at DePaul. Yeah. So and he coached against me a ton in the D League. So. But and he's exactly right, man. I tell people that all the time. From when I was playing there, the years that I spent in the D League, from a talent alone standpoint, it was the 2nd best league in the world. The Euro League is the 2nd best league in the world next to the NBA.
Okay.
It has been for a long time. But it's because of the combination of talent and IQ maturity.
Yeah.
The D League is just talent, but most of the guys are already, they don't notice, they're already NBA players from a talent standpoint.
Yeah.
It's the other part where they're not catching on to. And a lot of time, a lot of guys do themselves a disservice. They're in their own ways. Like, you think you're about to go to the next level and try to average 25, and you're going to be mad if you don't get 10 shots or something like that when you playing next to Kevin Durant. Who the fool? You know what I'm saying? Who the fool? You ain't going to get it. You going to get it with me when you playing with me down here in the D League. To that next level, they got somebody for that.
Yep.
It's already for somebody for that. So what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are your attitude gonna be while you doing it?
Ooh,
are you gonna be a positive in the locker room? Are you gonna be a distraction?
Talk about it. And so again, basketball is universal. Everything that you're saying can relate on every level. As well as doing anything even off the court, right? What's your IQ? How much do you know? But also, how much do you know that you need to know, right? You said, Rel, coming out of high school, you wasn't no fool. You was real with yourself, and you understood where you should be. So you could have went somewhere that maybe wasn't good for you, but you understood also now could have left and went to the NBA. But because now you know what you need to know, right? It's still that constant growth, So, again, even when we're talking about trusting the process, well, that process includes all of those things also. And, the IQ then leads to, the maturity level. And it goes back to, again, if you lead the University of Marquette in field goal attempts, you had to be mature enough to know when to shoot that thing and when to not shoot it.
I did my best, and I just saw one of my point guard just popped up on here, Nika. So hell, I'm sure him and you asked him. Well, I probably shot a couple too many, but we all got our fair share. But yeah, they yeah, man, because and that's another thing I always tell guys. Not even just basketball, man. Sports, man. Sports locker room are a special place. And it's a place where the truth always reigns supreme. You can't fool your teammates. You're around them too much. You spend too much time with them. They see you too much. So all your words and everything might be right. You might be saying one thing, but at the end of the day, guys can always tell the true intentions and what's important to you and where you stand, and you know what I'm saying, as far as like being on the team level. So you can never fake or fool your teammates. So that's one thing I've always been most proud of. Like anybody that I ever played with can always say that I've been 100% genuine. You might hate me some. I'm sure some don't like me, but they can't say that I was a bad teammate or I didn't care or I was selfish. As long as you don't never hear nothing like that, I'm okay with it.
Right. Yeah. No, and that, and people don't talk about the locker room often, but that it's a thing called locker room guys, like literally. And again, all scholarship offers, all contract offers ain't equal. If ain't nobody doing that.
Nope.
You have to find your purpose and where you fit in certain situations. Yep. But you have to be aware of who you are,
at that time. And that don't necessarily mean that dynamic can't change. But where you are at that time is where you are. And the most important thing is to be completely bought in and given to that role. You're right. And some, they get how many scholarship offers. Some of those offers is to round out a roster for practice and bring up to team GPA. Yeah,
talk about it, Rel.
It's a business too, but that's why them cats who doing what they do in the classroom. Yeah, you might see him and it's like, damn, I was better than him.
Yeah,
you ain't better than him on the other side though. And hell, ain't neither one of y'all gonna play on the basketball side right away, so it don't matter to the coach.
Anyway, and again, going back to community, strong community, having standards. When you have standards and trust with each other, you don't really mind. Like I see your man, Coach Edgecombe, right? You can have guys in your corner and in the locker room, as you said, you can't fool them.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can't really complain. You talk about attitude. Now you got that guy that's complaining, whatever. But if you got a strong locker room, majority gonna reign. And what I mean by that, majority of the people gonna be like, "Rel, you ain't playing because like you terrible in practice." You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
So you have to have that level, and I don't think so. It's a lot of buddy ball, right? So like you and Neek battling every day in practice. What's your take on buddy ball as opposed to what you had to deal with? Because I don't think you necessarily, okay, I'm going to let you score now. I mean, talk about this whole buddy ball thing.
I don't even know what that means. It's something that you do for somebody you really don't care about.
Oh, okay.
That's how I look at it. Okay. Yeah, so like you just said, you seen Nico here, and that's me and him got a relationship, and we got a bond that is forever cemented. Like it'll never change, and one of the most special people in my life forever, though, is my brother, and it's because of how hard we fought each other and the battles that we went to. Yeah, and I'm talking about ugly of the ugly, and yeah, let's step outside and fighting and a whole nine. Like it's gonna get drop down filthy ugly, but at the end of the day, you let it all go. And I stand up, and he know how I feel about him, and I know how he feel about me. No matter how mad we might be in the heat of the moment, or whatever happened, it end up making you closer. It builds your bond stronger, and to trump all that, it gets you better. Like that's the part I'm saying I don't get about. You play buddy ball, you go ahead and let him do what he want to do. What's gonna happen when he running the Pat Bev shit? You know, you think he gonna let him do what he want to do? No. He trying to expose me, trying to embarrass him, he trying to make him look bad. So I'd rather have somebody that care about me try to do that in the confines of while we in here, both trying to get better together. Yeah, we can both look like bad and be ripping each other and be cooking, killing each other together so that I can get out a better overall performance for whoever else I run up against. And when you do that and you got really high quality players, you got something special. And that's what we had.
And going back to what you was talking about, like just playing hard, right? As like playing hard is going to make you better, you know, as long as I'm not hacking, you know, trying to hurt you. But when you play hard, ultimately you're going to make yourself better and the people that you playing against better. But now, as you said, if it's a high school, college, whatever, Unique, Mo, you know what I'm saying, whoever it might be. But now, and this is what I always got my players to understand. The game is easy because ain't nobody in the game going to be able to play you like that dude over there playing you every day in practice.
Nope, because don't nobody see you more. Don't nobody know your tendencies better. Don't nobody know what you like to do better. Don't nobody know the plays better than him because he on the team too. So, I mean, that's what it is. That's I see a clip floating around all the time now. Kobe saying that, just like it's so true though. Like practice is supposed to be harder than games.
Supposed to.
We had blood battles in practice. Like I truly like. It was a point in time where like practice wasn't fun for me. Like in college, like you know what I'm saying. It was like you survive practice. You know what I'm saying? Like and then at the end of the week, you got a chance to go take it out on somebody else. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think we about to do to them? Because me and this dude, we've been killing each other. My brother, though. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been killing each other for forever. So.
Sweat equity, blood equity, and now when we going against somebody else, do you think I'm gonna let you lose? You know what I'm saying? Because because I see what you're doing with me every day. You know, so
Is there any question that I ain't gonna have that rotation? Is it any doubt that I ain't got your help side or I ain't gonna take the road man on the pick and roll? Like no. It shouldn't be none. Even when you do mess up, it ain't should be lack of trying or it ain't gonna happen again. I know you got me. I know you got me.
Yeah, and you know what I think a lot of people miss. You know, like basketball is a competition, and but the root word of competition is like that you have to compete. You know, like it's no excuse for not competing. Like there's no excuse for not competing. And so now when we talk about competition, man, so I want to go back to Marquette. I saw some like y'all do a thing in Marquette, and and it's probably a pro thing in all honesty, and because there's so many pros, y'all just brought it back home. But when you talk about being efficient, when you talk about being effective, this one-on-one game does it to the T. Y'all play one-on-one, 2 dribbles from 5 spots.
Yep.
When talk about the importance of being effective.
Give me 1 second. Let me grab this charger real quick. My computer about that.
Okay. So I want to talk about the importance of being able to work in close quarters. And so Jerel has been great throughout his career with being able to create shots, create magic, in close quarters. That don't happen if you're pounding the basketball, doing a whole lot of dribbling, because you may not have time in a half-court setting in close quarters. So that's where we going next. If y'all got any questions, though, drop them in the chat. If y'all got any questions, anything that you want to ask Rail, we're We're going to put him in a hot seat in about 10, 12 minutes. But before we close out, if y'all got any questions, drop them in the chat. Again, you know, you can definitely check out our free training at BeTheRightRecruit.com. I will drop the links to where you can get both books, Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball, as well as Creating the Perfect Storm. I drop both of those in here. But any questions, drop them in the chat. If y'all got any questions, drop them in the chat. Any questions for Jarrell Mcneal, drop them in the chat. So Rel, what I wanted to talk about was being effective and efficient in tight quarters.
Yeah, you was talking what you asked me about the cutthroat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we call it. Is
so and that game, and so to that point, because I want to talk about being effective and efficient in tight quarters, meaning at the high college level, pro level, definitely high college level, almost even top high school. If you can't make your move and get your shot off in 1 or 2 dribbles, you ain't really good. So talk about that cutthroat game.
I said we started doing it. We've been doing it since my freshman year at college is when we started it. And what we did when we first started doing it, we started it at 3 dribbles. It used to be 3 dribbles, and I got really, 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 really good at it though. But the thing with it was always to play one-on-one, get a good cardiovascular training out of it, but make it as realistic as possible. So playing one-on-one and having unlimited dribbles does nothing because we all play structured basketball. We know that never going to be realistic. You're never going to be able to do that in the game. So we tried to completely shrink it down, minimize that, and put it in the one-on-one live dribble. You got 3 dribbles to make a move. And it's hard. It's really, really hard to guard somebody because what it does is shifts the focus of the offensive player of not to play around with the ball.
Yep.
You think about everything. You don't burn your triple threat just to burn it. You don't waste your live dribble. You make that dude start guard. You don't give him no breaks.
Yep.
And what it does is that you start realizing how truly hard it is to guard somebody who's in full-on attack mode with a live dribble, whether it be 2, 3, or 1. And that's what we did. We took the 3 dribbles away. It got too easy with 3 dribbles.
Okay.
Yeah, so we all got to a point where we all – yeah, not 2 seemed like too many here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the amount of space.
Yeah.
Once you start to do it and you become masters at it, it's like anything else. Like the amount of space that you're really able to cover, like as grown men pros at a high level with 2 dribbles on the basketball court from the top of the key or the wing is you can get everywhere.
Yeah.
Like get all the way to the rim. Is dunks. I'm seeing cats get like man, how you getting dunked on? Y'all playing 1-2? It happens. That's what I'm saying. There's no wasted movement. There's no messing around. It's, you know what I'm saying? Everything is to the point, and it helps you offensively and defensively.
Absolutely.
Always the best thing for me is to see guys who never played that way before because they suck on offense and they don't get why. And it's like, man, they look like they never played basketball before. And it's like their first time playing. And they're like, man.
They took it for granted.
Like you come out there and they like, man, I can't do this, man. I can't play. I'm like, damn, bro, you can't play basketball? What you mean? You got 3 dribbles. They ain't like telling you can't do it. I ain't telling you can't cross over. You can't go behind you. Yep. No, there ain't no rules like that. You just got 3 dribbles from the time that you start dribbling, and you started with a live dribble. My job is to stop you. It's one shot and out, but it's our way. It's our tradition. It's our staple. It's our way of competing. And it's always like a summer tradition. So
and you know it is. When I first saw it, I'm like, man, I'm about to add this to my practice. Like, you know, this is amazing. But what it does, as you said, it teaches you to like don't take it for granted because them dribbles ain't guaranteed. You know, that triple threat ain't guaranteed. But when you know in your mind that you can get anywhere on the court and very little time. It changes it up now when you playing. So I used to always tell people, man, his second season, and people see him now, and you was there when when Jimmy first got there, and that's like y'all little brother, like but his second year with the Bulls, I saw Jimmy work out 3 times a day, right? Jimmy was in there early in the morning.
Yep.
Then in the afternoon, he would be in there playing cutthroat. And then in the evening, y'all would play. Sometimes the captain would play too, but then y'all would play in the evening. So he was and this ain't counting the lifting he was probably doing with Todd or whatever. Yeah. So he was getting, and this is when he was still known as a defensive player. Yeah. Bulls playing the Heat and all that. But his game improved so much. Got my son running here. His game improved so much because of those little things that y'all did, and y'all knew the focus of what you needed to do to get better. Absolutely. And when I really understood it, Steve Novak told me one day, we was in the gym, and he was shooting, and I was talking to him, and Steve Novak, journeyman, came in the gym, worked on his ball handler for about 5 minutes, sweating profusely, right?
Yeah.
Goes back to what you're talking about, playing hard. Like, I don't give a damn about dribbling drills.
Yeah.
Steve went and got some water, came back, he shot.
Ain't gonna never dribble the ball.
Hey,
what he here to do?
Steve came back to your point, and Steve shot the ball for 50 minutes. And Steve said, Carvel, he said, they don't pay me to dribble the ball. I still got to do it because I still need my rhythm, or back to that cutthroat, I got to be able to handle it.
Case of emergency, only break it in case of emergency.
Steve said, they pay me to shoot the ball.
Facts.
So I'm going to do what they pay me to do. And I think a lot of athletes don't really understand what their strength is, and if they're getting paid through scholarship, right, or if they're getting paid pros. But ultimately, a coach is really getting you to do one thing. They want you to do a lot of others. But that one thing. And when Steve Novak told me that, I said, oh, they on something totally different here, because Tristan, you're too loud, man. Close the door. You know, I said, like, that comes from, as you said, and which I didn't even know at that point about Mike, but if you got somebody that's been on that level, now y'all getting the education about everything that it entails to get to that level.
Absolutely.
But then y'all also holding one another accountable, because, and like Mo could not play today if everybody playing.
Right.
Everybody playing, camp feet or not, but if everybody playing and everybody playing. And absolutely. That goes back to that standard and goes back to that whole buddy ball thing. Like, okay, but this is what you got to do.
We ain't get scratches for open gym.
But it goes back to what you said about, if you don't care about your teammates, I ain't gonna make you play.
Nope.
I ain't gonna make you play, man. It's the beautiful thing. And so let's talk Hall of Fame, man. I got a special guest I'm about to bring out. But let's talk Hall of Fame, man. You go back to Marquette, you are a proven professional. You've accomplished a lot of great things. But to be in the Hall of Fame at Marquette University, talk about that.
Oh man, it's still somewhat surreal for me.
Okay.
Setting out when you first set out as a kid, and then before you get to accomplish or embark on anything in life, you set goals and you think your goals mean something when you're younger. And I remember like my thing was I used to always tell my old man, I was like, man, I just want to make it on like sports in the top 10 one time in my life, and I'm cool. I die happy man. Like I'll be straight with that. Like I just want to be like on TV playing sports or something for something athletically at one time in my life. So now when I look back on it and everything that I've done and all the things that I accomplished and the accolades and stuff that start to roll in at this junction, like now it's just like I said, it's still surreal. But I'm just profusely grateful, man. But like I said, when I really like before I got inducted, I had to try to sit down and try to make a speech about it and everything, and that's one of the things that kind of changed my outlook about a lot of things a lot as well. So you actually got to sit down and try to write a speech. And I was just like, man, I ain't a speech type person.
Was that real hard to comprise all your thoughts, Rel?
I'm not good at reading off paper. I'm better at talking freely and having talking points. And what I found myself doing when I was trying to come up with something to say was I just kept writing down names. Mm-hmm. And essentially all it was just like a big list of people who've helped me get to this point, or people who I felt like were unbelievably like important to my success. And it's like you almost get to a point where it's like you get such a big list and it's like you feel like you leave people off. Like, damn, I don't want to leave nobody off. Like so, and that's why I say my mindset is the way it is, because I like that's what was important to me. I felt like it was like, man, y'all put to the time, effort, the faith, the belief in me to have this opportunity to do something special. I've done something moderately special to me. So, it's almost like y'all, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is your reward. Like, I couldn't have made it to I couldn't have made it to this point of done what I've done without help along the way that others people, laying the road before me. So I'm just constantly grateful, man. And that's one of the things, like you said, man, we got a culture up there. And man, there's not too many things on this earth that I'm more proud in, that, especially right now, than the staple that, that we made on not just college basketball, but the Marquette way, the tradition, like you said. I've seen some other people all throughout this way, Chicago, South Suburbs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whatever it may be, NBA. It means something.
Absolutely.
That brand, that stamp, that means something. And I take great and tremendous pride in that. And I earned every bit of that equity that I got in that program. And that's why I always feel connected to it. I'll always be a huge part of me. I'll always be a huge part of it.
Yeah, man, that's huge. And it goes back to what you said earlier when you talk about being a service member, but people say they want to do things on their own, and as you said, Rel, but like you need some help. Like everybody needs some help. And
absolutely,
you had you figure you had to write a speech, and you wind up with a list of names. But then when you looked at those names, like it hit you like these are all the people that helped me get to this point to even make this speech.
Yep.
And you can appreciate it. Goes back to what you said earlier, right? You're grateful, right? And we're in the world of microwave. The athletes nowadays they want it, and so even when we talk about trust the process, but they want it so fast, and that's why they lose it. You've had a professional career that has lasted like decades, almost decades, at this point. But that don't happen if you aren't not only a good player, but it don't happen if you ain't a good person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because being a good person is going to put you in position and going to put you in situations to where now people want to help you. And I've seen you, I've seen Mo, I've seen Jimmy, Joe, Steve. I've seen guys come back and they're almost welcome more than the current players that's at that point,
And that's how you know you left a good impression.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's neat to say. I mean, cut from a different cloth, and it's just different. I mean, you have to have a certain amount of pride about yourself, but it comes from having a great connection, just like that. And so I was able to pull it off. It's almost like the yin and the yang, and y'all are funny as hell together. But I was able to pull it off, man. I'm gonna see if he pop on so that I can get him ready, man. But I want to bring, man, to the stream too, man. Y'all are doing some amazing things in the neighborhood, in the community, with your foundation. But you can't give back to other people if you haven't first given back to each other. And this individual, man, I know what he means to you. I know what you mean to him. I know what when you talk about foxholes, right? It's neat, like from a different cloth, but it's certain people that if you ever get caught in a foxhole, you want to be in a foxhole with. And from day one, I always, I'm like, man, are these dudes brothers or what? I remember back in the day, right? And I don't know if people remember it, right? And I'm gonna bring them on. But back in the day, man, it was a website, right, out called, well, let me do this first. I'm about to bring to the screen, right? Amazing player, amazing person. And when you talk about like effort and energy, Rail, you talk about that effort and energy, like it almost goes hand in hand with this dude because he got a motor that just don't stop. And when he get cooking, he gonna let you know he frying your ass. I want to bring to the show, man, the other half of the Mcneill Acker Foundation, man. Mo Acker. Mo, what up, baby?
Skino, take yourself off mute. Unmute yourself.
What's going on, Coach?
How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I thank you for joining us back. I know you was with the family, man. First of all, Mo, how you doing, man? How you doing, man? You look good, baby.
Appreciate it, man. You too. I'm doing all right, man. Still grinding.
Hey, so tell us something about Jarrell Mcneal, man, that we don't know. Tell us that, tell us that inside thing that only Mo kind of know. What kind of dude is Real? Yeah.
Damn, you asking the wrong
Real, I would say, man, yeah. Man, it's a lot. Man. I can be on here talking for hours, man. One thing I can say though is Real is one of the most hardworking people I've been around, man. Like he the one that got me, you know what I'm saying? Because he the one that taught me how to become a gym rat, and that helped me to this day, you know what I'm saying? I used to be days I'd be like, man, I don't feel like going to the gym, you know what I'm saying? And it'd be Real right there, like, no, we gotta go. Like, let's go. We gotta get better today, you know what I'm saying? And he always been like that, and that's why you talking to him now. That's why he accomplished everything he done accomplished, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know he put a lot of hours in the gym. A lot.
Now, you're in the shortstop of yourself, man, and I know that you're talking about Rail. And really the thing that we've been talking about a lot tonight is energy, community, relationships, communication, and standards. But the biggest thing is being selfless. And you can't have none of that without being selfless. And it shows with you too, Mo, that you have to be selfless to be able to find those things to be able to just roll off, the back of your head about somebody, regardless if that's your brother or not. But talk to us, man, about y'all just pushing one another, that drive, because I'm pretty sure, and the people that's on here know y'all laughing, y'all handle business now. But when y'all up against one another, and as Rail said, in practice with Neek or whatever, but when y'all up against one another, and which was why y'all were so good, especially at the guard position. Like, man, talk about the importance, Mo, of like not really having no love for that dude across from you, even if you really love them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in terms of this competition, because y'all brought it all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's bro. You know what I'm saying? So we both love. We hate to lose. So we used to work out. Then after that, get a game of cutthroat in. Which is called ones. You know what I'm saying? 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And those games used to get heated. You know what I'm saying? And those are games that got us so much better because Jerrell was a lot better in certain areas than I was. He had, he was longer, more athletic, so it helped my game a lot. I was faster, a little quicker. You know what I'm saying? So I helped him in ways. You know what I'm saying? So it'll get real hectic. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be days where he win. You know what I'm saying? It'll be days I win. I wouldn't talk to him. You know what I'm saying? For a little minute. You know what I'm saying? Be pissed off or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all love. Yep. To this day, at the end of the day, it's all love. And that's just a competitive mindset we had.
They be running from me now. They can't get these ones. They can't get away from me quick enough. I'm still the king of cut their head.
Live.
It's funny, Real. Mo, that you say that like y'all hate to lose. So like true story. I tell y'all a true story, right? And I just want y'all to watch Mo's face when I tell his story. So we at camp, Mo he's accomplished a lot. So Mo kind of come to camp. Mo work camp when Mo want to work camp.
That's called the Mo Action Special.
You remember that.
Mo disappearing.
So
Harry Houdini
on. So Mo works camp when Mo want to work camp, right? Be gone, as Real say. Pop back up like ain't nothing gone. But I tell you though, when it's game time,
he there.
Mo there. But now here's the thing, man. So I got caught up, right, with because we had the middle division. So Mo always wanted to coach. Mo ain't never on his own team because he couldn't dance, the way he like to dance. Mo always wanted to coach with Angie. Now, when you talk about, right?
Yeah.
A basketball player from, people, see WNBA and all that. Like, when you talk about somebody like that could do it all, that was like Angie. But man, so we ain't supposed to be playing zone at camp, Real. But it's playoff time.
Right.
Mo pops up out of nowhere. I'm playing, they team, it's getting to the end, we winning now, you got your certain subs, right? You got to do 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, already, yep.
Mo come when you talk about the and I'm going back to him saying that he don't like to lose. Talk about the competitor. Mo subbing who he want to sub.
What kind of zone he put him in? I ain't trying y'all that, man. Set that 2-3 up, man.
Time to win, coach.
They ain't gonna follow one of them rules.
They in the 3-2 zone, and man, when I tell you, man, I want to say that year, man, they won a championship. And but to that point, right? You have to be a competitor to appreciate competitiveness. Does that make sense? Absolutely. Because if you're not, then other people gonna be like you cheating or whatever. So I just had to honor it. And what helped me was because like Joe was like, "Vel, you lost," and Joe looked and saw Mo. He was like, "Okay, yup." Yep, I already understand.
You already know.
All right, so they got you right, but it goes back to not wanting to lose. So
he's probably over there looking like, man, what does this dude do?
That's funny. Hey, that's funny. Hey, that's funny. You remember that? That's funny. You remember that, Coach.
He sub whoever he want to sub. They running the 1-3-1 zone, man.
You know, and so we, you know, I mean, this is our second, third year, you know, so you know, we, you know, kicking and having fun, but just when you talk about the competitiveness of even at basketball camp,
take those gloves off.
Don't want to lose, and so many athletes nowadays. They don't understand that one, you can learn from a loss. Your greatest learning lesson is a loss, but because they don't know how to lose, they really don't know how to not lose. If that makes sense, right? Mo don't like to lose. I'm pretty sure, Mo, because at some point you've lost, and now let's be out. Okay, but make it practical because you know the show goes nationwide in some other countries. How tall are you, Mo, on your best day?
On my best day, 5'8". 5'8" on my best day.
So even on your best day, traditionally, people would say that you were too little. Am I correct?
Yep. Been hearing that my whole life.
Yep. How did you shut everybody up? Because again, you not and I'm gonna let Rail kind of explain some of your accomplishments as you explain here, so that people don't get lost on okay, well, who is this guy if they don't know you? But even at 5'8" on your best day, Rail, what you say about 5'5"?
No, he about 5. I give him 5'6.5". He about 5. Yeah, he got a good day at 5'8". But yeah, he to put it in a nutshell, like you said, first and foremost, ultra competitor, point guard, in every sense of the word. Literally, like if you want to see somebody who's the definition of plays with others, but elevates the play of those around him, that's what Reese does. I told him that, funny story, I told him that when we, a lot of people don't know that he finished at Marquette, but he went to Ball State his freshman year and was the MAC Rookie of the Year in that conference as well. So it ain't just about what we was doing. And he was out there getting baskets, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? He actually stepped up, leveled up, and played at a higher level going forward on that. But first and foremost, like I said, he a competitor first. He like me. He's a competitor first. Like I said, great point guard, elevates the others around him, man. But just what he's been able to do, even as far as sustained success. What you at 10 now? 10 years, pro? You just made a decade, right? Yeah, just made a decade playing professionally. Yeah. Man, unbelievable blessing, bro, for somebody that's been able to do what he's done with the attributes that he was given. For all the people out there think it's all about height and prototypical and you know what I'm saying, don't nothing outweigh determination and heart. So you know, heart over height every time. And in a nutshell, that's who he is. But a special player, like you said, Marquette graduate. List goes on and on. Champion as well. Winner.
If you had to sum it up in one word, absolutely winner. Mo, what's been your driving force, man, all this time?
Man, the height. It's been really the height thing, you know. Starting off at Hillcrest, you know. Always been disrespected, you know. Really nobody believed in me but Coach Buckley at Ball State. You know, I was getting a lot of D2, D3, low major, and like Coach Buckley, he was the first one to give me a chance. Like Coach Crean gave Jerel a chance. That was Coach Buckley that's how he was. And I was
about to say, and they was connected as well. So Coach Buckley coached under Coach Crean before He took the head job at Ball State.
Okay.
Right.
Then he ended up coming back, and that's how we got Mo too. Yeah, we took everybody. We brought everybody home. We brought everybody home.
Yeah, and now speak to the point guards for a minute, Mo, because we were talking about KYP, right? As a point guard, not only do you have to put people in position to gain an advantage and be great, but sometimes you got to put people in an uncomfortable position as well in order for them to produce. And I'm pretty sure you've had to do it with Jerrell or with
he worse than me. That's what I'll say. And I'm usually one to get the bad rap. But drop one of Mo passes. But let's have one as assist.
Talk about that whole thing, KYP, right? Knowing that my job is to take care of you, really, right? As the point guard. But my job also is to hold you accountable.
Right.
So, talk about the importance and the responsibility of a true point guard. Because a lot of people think that point guards nowadays, I'm a scorer. That ain't really your job.
No. I mean, for me, I'm kind of, I guess, old school in a sense. I don't care about scoring, you know what I'm saying, 30 points or nothing like that. My man, I just want to win. I always been like that. I'm going to do whatever it takes for my team to win. If that's, come out and get 10 assists, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do that. If I got to come out, if real on bull, he broke that night, he ain't scoring, all right, I got to step up. I got to score 20. You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality. You got to have.
Do you let Jerrell know that he on bull? Do you, as a point guard, do you let Jerrell know he on bull?
That's the hardest. Yeah, that's the hardest thing. I had to, I played with Jerrell for what, I don't know, 10 years. We played about 10 years together overall. So it's been days where we bumped heads just because he ain't like what I was saying. Jerrell, you on bull tonight, bro. Snap out of
fight. Yeah,
we get mad, we get in an argument
real.
or whatever. But then he know, So then he know he turned up after that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He back to Jerrell. So it's all about just holding everybody accountable. And a lot of people can't do that. And it's tough. You might just because you tell somebody or your close friend, to step it up or you got to bring it. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of it. You know what I'm saying? If you get mad, whatever. At the end of the day, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? So It's always been like that. And I mean, like I said, I'm kind of old school in that sense. I ain't worried about points. Assists, the stats, none of that. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to hold everybody accountable and do all the little things.
And now a lot of people duck competition nowadays. Let's keep it real. Let's call it what it is. Now you transfer, but it's a Dominique James there.
I hope Nick's still on here.
Let's.
So you talk about how he was 10 more ass up when he came.
No, let's. Keep it honest and keep it real, right? And as Jerrell said, Nick could have probably left freshman year, sophomore year. Now you're the MAC player of the year. You transfer, so you get introduced to the business side of basketball also, right? But how come you ain't ducked that smoke, so to speak? How come you ain't ducked that competition? Because a lot of people self-proclaim themselves to be good, but they don't really want to play against that competition. And as Jerrell said earlier, one of the first things he said, I always wanted to play against the best competition, so at least I can know where I measure. How come you ain't never ducked that smoke, Mo?
Man, I ain't even gonna lie. I was the same way until I got to Marquette and I ran across Dominique. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I want to play at the big level. That first week I was there, man, he opened my eyes up to a whole new ball game. I'm talking about I couldn't guard this man or nothing. I was stuck. I'm talking about I'm in the gym every day now going extra hard, but it just raised my game to a whole nother level. he was the one that I can honestly say raised my game. He made me. I was forced to get in the gym after I messed up against him.
The competition, man.
I was forced. Before that, I was kind of getting by with my skills and
you never truly know what you made of until you kind of have somebody else make everything, all the self notions you got in your head, everything got hit the floor one good time. You'd be like, man, no, because I know you got to know in your heart he better than me.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing like that. Like if you don't never have that defining moment in your life, it's hard to learn.
That was the first time. That was the first time where I was like, man, what I'm about to do? What I'm about to do with this dude? I gotta guard him every day. The fastest dude I done matched up against, most athletic, on defense, locking up on defense, you know what I'm saying, the whole nine. And I had to get adjusted fast, so all of them get embarrassed.
And he's strong too.
And I had Jerrell on. And he's strong. And I had Jerrell on my head like, hey man, you gonna have to do something, man. You can't be just letting this dude come in here.
Because that's my boy. So when he first got there over the summer, I got him in pickup every day off GP.
Okay.
Give me Mo. Nick, you go the other way. So you're gonna go. We used to always break it up. I go me, Mo. Yeah. Nick West usually take y'all go that way, and then we pick the rest of the teams accordingly. But yeah, I'm taking him every day, and I'm matching him up. Yeah, we matching him up against Nick. So yeah, he was getting tossed up a little bit, but it was good for him, man.
I like how you said that though, Reese. You said he made me stay in the gym. Like that's an eye-opening experience for somebody to make you, because if you don't, your time here gonna be pretty short. So, Rail, who was that one dude with you to where you was like, yeah, he just better than me?
Man, I was talking to them not too long ago about this, and it's so funny because I was so grateful for all the experiences I had at the NBA level. And I had a ton of short stints. I had a couple that was longer than others. Like I stayed for a while and didn't move on into the following year. But I had a lot of short stints. But being around greatness, like my first 10-day call up was with the New Orleans Hornets, the New Orleans Pelicans. Then Chris Paul was still there.
Okay.
Chris Paul got a concussion, went down. They called me up essentially to replace him for a couple games till he got back. Long story short, one game go by, Chris Paul, CP walked back into practice the next day. He practiced in full go. I know I'm done. I ain't gonna play at least. But now they paying attention to how I'm reacting, knowing that he about to be back. I'm not about to play.
Right.
And what I'm gonna do with the rest of this time and everything else. So I'm super excited. I'm exhilarated. I'm happy to be there. But more than anything else, what I took away from that was seeing somebody that good, and that dude was such a special dude. It was like treated me like he had known me for 10 years. Like great dude. Like learned so much from him. I'm in the gym. I'm first one in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to outwork everybody. He walked in 2 minutes after me though. You know what I'm saying? He the highest paid dude on the team. Young fella, let's get it. We about to be working out together. You know what I'm saying? I'm working out with him, and then I'm getting a chance to guard him as well. Right. And you think, like what we say, talking about earlier, what make a great pick and roll play. You think you got answers, try to guard Chris Paul on the ball with a ball screen. You know what I'm saying? It's to a point where it's like, and I'm a really, really, really good defender in my own opinion and like in reality as well. And it's like, yeah, you don't really have too many answers because he don't have too many weaknesses, but that's greatness. You know what I'm saying? that's somebody that's greatness. Somebody that I know he better than me. I'm like, I can't be mad because I'm not gonna play now that he's not here. Yeah, I'm pissed off because I want the opportunity to play, but I can't be mad because I know he better than me. But he's special. He probably one of the best to ever do it. You know what I mean? So instead of being sulking and not and handling it the wrong way, I'm gonna take this time and I'm gonna soak up all this wisdom. And I'm going to soak up some of this game and when I'm around him, and I'm going to take what I can from that and use it to my benefit and be the best I can be.
Yeah. So once he suit up and now I go back to the D League. At least now I got something over them dudes that.
I was just guarding Chris Paul.
Oh, yeah.
You did. You cook. It's 30, 40, and you're not scoring. Yeah, like it's light. It's light now. Yeah, because I know what greatness look like. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like, and it's not just him. I got others that I can name, and I'm playing with a ton of really, really special players. But like I said, like you had those moments, but it's the only time I've had those moments. Like, damn, this dude good. It's like it was at the highest level. It was at the NBA level. It was like I could dream, be like, yeah, dude, be better than me, more talented.
Yeah, and that goes to, man, just one, again, being self-aware, understanding, like as Justin said, kids now transfer, they don't want, to smoke. But what was the biggest thing, and I'm gonna ask y'all both, what was the biggest thing that you had to improve on from high school to college, and then from college to pros? What was that one thing that you had to improve if you was gonna stay on that level?
For me, I would say shooting, being able to shoot.
From high school to college, Mo, or from college to pro?
From high school. Yeah, from high school to college, because I wasn't really a shooter like that. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to college, everybody got just so much bigger and stronger. So I couldn't get to the basket like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, like in order for me to make it or stay in the game, I'm gonna have to be a dead eye shooter. I'm gonna have to be catch and shoot. That thing I had to go in like at a high clip. So I was on the gun. I was on the gun a lot, trying to improve my range, stuff like that. And so for me, I would say shooting. Shooting, being able to knock it down at a high clip with my size.
Okay. And then what about from the college level to the pros? What was that one thing that you had to improve?
College to the pros. Man, college to the pros, I would say being able to just
defense.
I don't know, defense, lock up. Yeah, for sure. Lock up.
Okay. Rel, what about you? High school to college. What was that one thing that you needed to improve?
I would say probably coming out of high school, it'd have probably just been my overall just ball skills. I was skilled, but like I wasn't a great shooter. I wasn't a great ball handler, but like I could do everything well. Like wasn't nobody gonna take the ball, but like as far as like playmaking, running offense, making reads, and all that type of stuff is all stuff that I developed later on. So I just needed to tighten up my ball skills overall and like pick up with as far as the speed of the game from high school to college, and then from going from college to the pros, though, I would say the biggest thing is probably more of a positional thing, because I went through like a whole phase of playing point guard. Yeah. So I was going from pretty much being a lifelong traditional two guard to then it was like, oh, we don't know if he big enough to play the two in the NBA, even though this is when I was first coming out, but this is like coming out of like the Kobe era.
Right.
The two guard, you had to be 6'5", 6'6".
6'6", yep.
Yeah. But it was like now it's like, hell, everybody's 6'2", 6'3", all the way before me in hell. So but yeah, then it was just a switch of focus, me kind of changing my game and learning how to play a new position, which is essentially ended up being the toughest position in the game to play. So it ain't easy to do, but I was better for it. I was better for it for sure. It changed my dynamic of the game, changed how I viewed the game overall as a player.
So for the people that just missed that, what's the toughest position in the game to play in your
point guard? Point guard for sure. It's for sure, and it's a lot of people say that like it's not a shot at anything. It's just really by circumstance. It's the head of the snake. It's the quarterback for football, whatever it may be. It's the person who touches the ball every single play. It's the person who gets you in and out of offense. It's the person that the coach communicates with during the game. It's a position that you can't play quiet.
I like
you know
that,
what I mean?
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing for me at the point was and especially coming out of college, because I'm a super quiet person. Like I talk to people that I know, but like on the court, I don't sound like, I don't just be like out here. I don't just like do fake talk and fake chatter for no reason. So one of the hard things with me,
unlike Mo,
vocalizing and yeah, like, and he been doing it his whole life, so he really great at it. Like, the hell you doing, man? Get over here. You need to be, you know what I'm saying, putting people in position. It was something that I was not, I couldn't do it, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So it's something I had to work on and improve and getting better at that. But yeah, you can't play quiet as a point. You kind of gotta vocalize, and you gotta be, you know what I mean. It's the head of the snake. So
yeah, and what people don't understand about point guards, and to my young athletes, like point guards, most athletes got to know what they supposed to do. Point guards got to know what everybody on the court is doing.
Yep.
Not just everybody on their team, but they got to know what everybody on the other team, all 5 positions, what's going to happen. Like the point guard has to know what the other 9 people on the court are doing, plus what their job is. Yep. So you're absolutely correct. If you don't have that mentality, you said switch of focus, right? Mm-hmm. You have to switch your whole focus to now be right here and, to be that point guard. Before we get out of here, man, I definitely appreciate all y'all help. Matter of fact, I knew I was coming on with y'all today. I still,
already,
hey, keep you laced, keep you laced with the gear, man. But y'all, two pros that still come back home, stay, home, where you grew up at. And let's not get it confused. And I always have to say this when I have people on here like this. People talk about Chicago basketball. I've said that I think that the Red West at one point in time, and we all know it was the best conference in the country. But a lot of people sleep on the South Suburban basketball athletes. And for a long time, Real, you talking about how your brother and sister went to Hillcrest and how, the tradition for so long at Hillcrest, multiple other schools, we can name them. And it's been a lot of talent. When you look at the NCAA, every year they talk about number of players in the NCAA tournament from Illinois or from Chicago. Majority of them players be from the outskirts of Chicago too, right? Mm-hmm. But can both of y'all talk about, man, the competition in Chicago's south suburbs? Because it ain't sweet. I mean, it might be sweet now. It's a different basketball.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But can y'all talk about, man, the importance and the level of competition on a high level that's been in the south suburbs?
Yeah, I know for me, but like I said, it was arguable when we was coming out of school. It was arguable that it was the best talent in the state. It was right here in the south suburbs alone. Like I said, me and a handful of other guys was like Julian Wright was one of them. He was an HF guy.
Bobby Frazier.
Yeah, Bobby Frazier. Drew was the number 1 rated player in the state and nationally ranked top 15 in the country, and was a 5-star recruit and all that stuff. And a couple of other guys, me, Bobby, and a couple of other guys from Chicago or the state of Illinois, Nate, Tony Freeman, and a couple of other guys.
Freeman, T-Free.
But yeah, we had a ton of talent just right here in this very small portion of the city of the Chicago metropolitan area. It never really got its just due, but man, it used to be a gauntlet to try to get downstate from out here.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, during the time when we was coming out, it was a disadvantage, really. They was throwing city schools out here with us in our regionals and stuff, and they were just getting smacked. You know what I'm saying? But HF, you had us, you had Thornton. You had Thornwood.
Thornwood was pretty good too. Yeah.
TF South and TF North. The Ridge was okay for a couple of years, few and far in between. But man, just a lot of talent.
Thornton was number one.
For a day.
Thornton was number one in the country when we played in Season 4.
For a day.
Yeah, for a day. Yeah, for a day.
For a day, hey, but that's all that matters. You know, they were
king for a day
in the same area though.
Yeah.
I'm about saying that's what made it so still to this day one of the best high school basketball environments of all time, man. Because you know, those are all our guys, all our brothers. A shot about that. Speaking of the coaching, I wouldn't have been able to play for Tom Crean if I didn't have Ty Streets.
Man.
Him and Carlton DeBow.
Definitely prepared us.
Before that, so he was a lot closer to Coach Crean probably than Coach Cap was, just as far as on the coaching level. But those are all our guys, and all the cats from Thornton. That was half of our team, or really the majority of our team was their team. And us from Hillcrest and a couple more cats from the city and other places, few and far in between. So that made for one of the best environments ever, man. It was a special night.
Yeah, and you know, you know, out here it was always about bragging rights, because as you say, we always, you know, in the same environments. You know, if people, you know, back in my day, they coming up to Woodgate Park, or they going to, you know, the park across the street from Hillcrest, and you know, like people came from all over the state to come to play at those two parks. You know, you know, because they knew what type of competition was going to be out there, and just, you know, night in and night out, bringing it. You know, when you talk about competition,
they could play.
You know, bringing it, and so throughout all that, man, y'all still come back. You know, y'all have, you know, the foundation, which is amazing, because not only have y'all done it, but y'all have been through what, you know, it's, you know, a little different now, but y'all have kind of walked them same streets, been in them same, you know, White Hens or whatever, gyro places, you know, walked them same halls, you know, but
White Hen. Ooh, I can see one of them in a minute.
White Hen at the corner.
But to come back and still pour into the community, the youth, you know, y'all could be doing a whole lot. You know, y'all could have done something and said, we're gonna do a foundation, you know, it's gonna be a ghost foundation for tax purposes, whatever it may be. But y'all are out here not only educating, but y'all are out here showing how it's done. And the beautiful thing is y'all give some of these young people probably their only opportunity to put their eyes on a professional real life. Like, talk about the Mcneill Acker Foundation a little bit, y'all.
Yeah, like you said, it was something that was it was something that we was all also very to use the word again, passionate about, especially for me, because just the way things worked out, I came out and ended up hitting pro earlier a year earlier than Mo, because he transferred and he got an extra year eligibility. So by the time he got out and we both was playing professionally, we kind of had got our feet underneath us a little bit after a couple of years. It was always something that we had talked about, starting our own, and all that stuff don't happen by it all happens by design. I say it ain't a mistake. We was coming up. We were fortunate enough to be to have equity in multiple companies, and we was the originators of the Mean Streets organization, the first team that they had as well. So and
little known history fact, y'all.
And people, like I said, I dropped the names earlier, but from a young age on, we didn't have nothing, and we was coming up through the whole process trying to figure out how everything was going to pan out for us. Ty Streets and Carlton DeBose and all those other guys, Denard Eves and all those other guys involved gave us the opportunity, and our parents the opportunity. More importantly, they used themselves as a resource for all of us. And when they didn't have to, when Ty was at the height of his playing career, doing well, doing everything, living out his dreams, him and his family, and all along with his mother as well. Also one of the founders. Rest in peace. You know what I mean? Just they came, they took their time to give back and give us something. We didn't have anything, and look what's grown from that one seed being planted.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The progression, the transition, it just never stops. It just keeps moving forward. It just changes. And, you know, we're a product of that as well. And so it's always something that's very important to us. We always look forward to get back, especially around the holidays. We do a basketball camp, usually over the summer. But we're going to have a lot more stuff coming our way soon, too, especially once everything get back open. But, yeah, we got a website. It's under construction right now, but it'll be up in the next couple of weeks or so. It's Mcneill. AckerFoundation.com. It's Mcneill, McNeal, Acker, ACKER.com. McNeillAckerFoundation.com, and you can go for that and check on updates with everything, get more information for any upcoming programs or raffles or giveaways, anything we got going on. Something that's near and dear to our heart, and it's our little piece or our little part to try to give back and help the next generation and the youth, and do something special and can help people move forward.
Absolutely. Mo?
Yeah, just to go off what he said, it's been a passion for us, you know, just to go back and think about when we first started 10 years ago. You know, it's been a you know, a blessing. It's been a big progress. You know, we got Jerell's sister has been helping us a lot, and a couple other people. You know, we've been thankful for that.
Yeah,
and you know, we're just trying to change lives. You know, give back, and you know, as much as we can. And you know, that's the camp is for a week, so we really look forward to that week in the summer. You know, get together. Get the family together, you know, get all the guys that's been with us from the first year and things like that. So it's a special time for us. And then we have the back to school bash, you know, we all come together, party a little bit, get the kids some, you know, supplies and different things for them for school. You know, all that stuff is big for us, and you know, we enjoy doing it. So, you know, like I said, this year has been with the COVID and everything, it's been, you know, we haven't been able to do much. Right. So yeah, but we're gonna get back to it once everything get back normal.
Yeah, I see Edge put something too. We're gonna have a donation part with the website too once they get back up and running. So right now we ain't got nothing coming in right now as far as donations. But as soon as the website is up and running, there's gonna be a portion in there for that too, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know. Oh, look at this.
Here you go.
Boy.
Hey, Chap, man, Chap.
There you go. There you go. Talking about some. There you go, Bill. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
There you come. There go the Heights.
Yeah.
There go the Heights.
Heights coming out. Man, no, but you know that's. I mean, that was a great, you know, question. You know, just about the donations. You know, but y'all go check on, you know, the website, you know, the Mcneill AckerFoundation.com. It's under construction. But, you know, definitely be, you know, opportunity for, you know, for some donations. You know, y'all already doing the food giveaway, you know, the toy drive. And I'm going to say it because y'all haven't talked about it. And, you know, oftentimes, you know, and I know that you all are, you know, spiritual guys in a sense too. And so when you do well or do good by somebody, you don't necessarily do it to brag. But I do know that you know, you all helped you know, because here where we are, it was a, you know, big fire and, you know, some things, and, you know, even, you know, my wife and I, you know, because I, you know, work at this 227. So I heard about it early, and we, did some things again in the spirit of what I'm talking about. Not necessarily for me to say what we did. I can talk about what y'all did, and I know that y'all helped give to those families in the name of the foundation. And it's good that not only are y'all concerned about the kids, but the kids are connected to adults.
Mm-hmm.
And people fail to realize, and I tell coaches all the time, we're in the coaching business, but we really in the people business.
Absolutely.
And with Coach Crean, Coach Buzz, everybody taught y'all, Coach Autry, was how to treat people. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it was no surprise when I heard or saw that the foundation did something to help contribute to the families, because, and again, for the parents, you're being recruited if you want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
And if that coach ain't taking time to get to know you as much as they're getting to know your son or daughter, that's probably not the person for your kid.
Absolutely.
So, but going back to the foundation, y'all understand community, right? Real, you've been saying it.
Yep.
That was your found growing up at Country Club Hills. It was a strong community. So y'all can do things for the kids, but you can also do things for the adults, and I think that that's huge. I think that that's a big up to y'all, just y'all as people. And what I didn't know from what Mo just said, it just hit me. Like, y'all started this foundation, Mo, on your very first plane trip across the water.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you had to really, really believe in this if you wasn't going to even be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had, like I said, we got people in our corner as well, that's been helping us out with everything too while we gone and away and stuff like that. They've been helping us out big time to keep it growing,
Yeah.
Yep. We just the namesake is much bigger than just us. The cast you see with the jerseys on, that's for sure. It's a complete family and group effort. His parents, my sisters, my brothers, my cousins, everybody, man. We got everybody involved, all the way to all my Hillcrest family, man. We started it off at Hillcrest, and like he said here, we wasn't. We was giving away money starting it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yep. All out of pocket, and you know what I'm saying. It wasn't even covering his own expense. We was losing money on it, but it wasn't about that. It's never been about that. It's always something bigger than that. Something that we always felt like we were obligated to do, even though we know we're not obligated to do it.
Right.
It's just the right thing to do, man. And we happy about where we at, and want to continue to build on it and do more as much as we can.
Well, I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm and I don't just say that because we got this platform, but like two younger, successful Black men that understand that it's bigger than them, and going back to that why rail, right?
Yeah.
Understanding that when, even when y'all get older and all stop bouncing, but that MA foundation is going to live on, and it's going to live on well beyond, real, you got your bride and, but when y'all do have kids, right, to be able to, this is, and not only this is what my parents have done, and it's the same way, with our company. And I tell my daughters, like, I'm working on a $1 billion legacy, to where it's not about necessarily even what we've done in terms of financially, but what we've done in terms of helping other people. That's where the ultimate success lies, right? And you talk about coaching tree, just from everything that y'all was part of. Now just look at the different lens from all those coaching trees. So, man, I'm proud of y'all, man. I tell Chap all the time, I'm proud of Chap, and just to know, like Chap and Trent, having me, Vale, hey, can we know what you're doing? Can you come work us out? Or being able to talk basketball with y'all, or no matter what it, even though I'm older, but just genuine and understanding that like real don't recognize real, the fake show up. You know, that's what my agents say.
Sure.
And when you find people that are genuine and they can teach the game of basketball, it's a small community, right? Because everybody that can play can't necessarily teach it, you know. But you all do that, and y'all teach it, you know, the same way that the books say. Y'all teach basketball from a life standpoint. You know what I'm saying? You know, why you running up on the ball, or you know what I'm saying? All of that, you know, everything goes back to just basketball principles, man. So, you know, the next event, you know, I would love to, you know, be a part, man. Y'all let me know what, you know, I can do. And, you know, I mean, what the you know, the superpower, you know, we talk about that, you know, so I've partnered over the past year, like with Eric Thomas and his company. And, you know, we do the disassessment and help people out and show them what their strengths, what their superpowers are. But I understand that I help create systems, but one of my advantages, like Mo's height, is because I've sat in that first seat on a college level. And that's why I do what I do, even with this show, to be able to help educate the parents, to be able to help educate the athletes and even the coaches, because unfortunately, it's a lot of blind leading the blind out here.
Absolutely.
And, you know, y'all came from an era where y'all was able to see people before you, and they were still able to kind of grab you and, you know, hold you in check. And so that's what we do with this show. You know, we literally want to educate, you know, and y'all drop, you know, again, I tell people, man, I don't know about, you know, the one thing that Buzz taught me, he said, write down everything about everything, right?
Everything.
But like I got, you know, and every show, man, I love when people come on the show. I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 pages of notes just since we've been talking about, you know, because I want to continue to get better. But I think the young athletes nowadays and young coaches, you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know, you can learn from everybody. And so often this whole bravado thing with basketball, oh, well, I don't want to learn from them, or I don't want to play with them, but them the people that probably got your best interest in mind. It's, you know, and so I think that's what y'all do great. When I say not only do you do the all of the charity work with the foundation, but y'all also get out there and not only show them in the camps, you know, teach them, but then y'all get out there and show them, you know, and I think that's huge, because now they can see, okay, it's one thing telling somebody to do a 1-2 step, as opposed to y'all still being able.
Watch me. Watch me.
Right.
That's huge, man. Yeah, and it's Chap said, man, the day you stop learning is the day you stop coaching or playing.
Absolutely.
You know, and
never
you know,
too old to learn something new.
Never. Hey, Chap, man, we was talking about, man, remember the year when Mo and Angels, when they beat me in the playoffs, when Mo popped up out of his long break, we don't know where he at. Mo subbing people on his own, Mo playing his song. Remember that, Chap?
Came back, got that ship.
Mo got it.
Yeah, matter of fact, they might have beat Joe in the championship. Oh, that yeah. So I always do something, man, called, you know, the hot seat and closing, man. And again, I appreciate y'all time, y'all energy here. You know, I think it's been an amazing show in terms of just straight education. And, you know, again, and I told Rel prior to the show, we got into the pros, but the education part is gonna lie with the high school and college. And so that's where we paused at. But, you know, the hot seat, man, I just asked y'all some random questions, you know, real, you know, quick take. And so I'm gonna start off with this, man, for y'all. He talk about dog sleep whole cap.
Right.
In the locker room.
Popped up after his extended lunch break.
Got my nap.
Got him a win. Came out juicy. Got him a win. You bogus, bro. You bogus.
So, and my first question, and I'm gonna ask y'all this, man, because my wife and I, we were actually driving through Wisconsin not too long ago, and she was like, "What is this? Chipotle or Qdoba?
Ooh, Chipotle for me.
Man, I'm going with
I
Qdoba.
know you going with
Qdoba. They got that queso. They got that queso cheese.
Okay. Okay. And man, I didn't know what it was, man. I think it was coming out of Bar Louie or something like Dollar Burger Day or something. And we was walking down the street and I'm like, what is this? And somebody's like, that's like the Chipotle, but we don't really have Qdoba here.
Yeah.
When we was driving last couple weeks ago, and my wife, she's like, "What is that?" I was like, "That's the Wisconsin Chipotle."
Yeah.
So, Rel, let me ask you this question first, man.
Yeah.
Best player that you've ever played against, and then I'm coming to you, Mo.
Ooh.
Best player on any level that you've ever played against.
Ooh, that's tough.
That's why it's a hot seat.
Ooh, that's tough. We need a hot second. Let me think about that. Oh, I'll go Steph.
Curry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm all a lot of stories to show, but yeah, that was my first NBA game. Checked in and you got the reigning MVP. Yeah, I got like two fouls in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was all that.
Can't touch him. Look, and you got to be close here. So, you got to be close. So I ain't about Joe say Rudy Gay, yeah, because Joe.
Tell us the story.
As soon as we got in the game, Coach, Rudy Gay freshman year, he projected to go top 3 in the NBA draft, 6'8" monster. Joe, you got him. 4 minutes into the first half.
2 fouls.
Real, get him. Real, get him. He was doing me like that. Joe did me like that my whole freshman year. He was getting all the worst assignments, but since he was a senior, coach was throwing them his way first.
Didn't Randy Foyd? What about Randy Foyd? Foyd got you too, didn't he?
Foyd cooked me. Joe fall. Joe,
switched off.
I had Allen Ray, and he had Foyd. And Foyd had a little bit more in his game. Yeah, Ray, he called that first and looked at me like real. James White, Armin Kirkland. They both 6'7", 6'8". I'm like, Joe, it don't even matter. Hell, we both on the sides.
Right. Damn, that is hilarious. Rudy Gay, freshman year. Yeah, he was tough, man.
That's a good one. That's some good ones.
Yeah, he's tough. What you got, Mo? Best player you've ever played against, Mo?
I'm gonna go with I got 2, man. Johnny Flynn and Kemba Walker.
Ooh.
Yeah, Johnny Flynn. He bust my ass, and was we at home? I was guarding him. Yeah, it was at home. Played at home at the Bradley.
You talking about the one when I stepped on your pants and you got the N1? I can't hear you breaking up, Mo.
No, I said Kemba Walker was like the quickest dude I guarded, like hands down.
Yeah, Kimber was nice. He wasn't that good after I left, but after I left, he turned up for sure.
He got it hot. Kimber definitely had an amazing college career. Rel, now, what's the best basketball moment that you've had in your career?
Best moment. Oh man, I would say it'd be a toss up. I would say the first call up that I got to the NBA, that was special for me. Best moment would probably be I probably go any championship. I got a 2, so one in Germany was big though because that was my first one as a pro. Yeah, so I was in Bamberg, but yeah, that was probably my best moment. That and my first NBA even say my first contract, but yeah, like my first way of making it. I went through the D League the hard way after all the other stuff, and I got on with New Orleans. I got that first 10-day. I got that one out the mud, so it meant a lot. It meant a lot.
Now this show is always positive, and I'm gonna put a positive spin on it. But you know, we're talking about, you know, Neek or some, you know, cooking Mo. But who was that dude that you was cooking that was supposed to be on your level, and you was like, oh yeah, I'm there? Like when you saw them head to head, and they were supposed to be that guy, but when you saw them head to head, you gave them everything that they wanted.
Oh, I knew he was about to say that. Nope, I played so bad that UConn game, but that was definitely one of the points. I'll say either the UConn game or that Villanova game that year.
Okay.
And we won the UConn game, and I gave the Villanova game away. But that UConn and Villanova was both top 3 teams, pretty much top 2 best teams in the country all year long. UConn was huge. They had all the 6'10", 6'11" dudes, 6 pros, 7 pros deep on their team, and then Nova had all the guards. They had all the high-level guard talent. Kyle Lowry, Randy Foy, Allen Ray, all on the same team. Nardi, Mike Nardi. They had really, really, really good players, high-level players, pros. And we got out there and we was competing and playing well against those guys. It was kind of like the moment where it was just like, I'm like, not necessarily just cooking, but it's like, yeah, I could do this. I could for sure do this. And then at that next level, I'm about to say my first time getting a taste of that NBA action, and I had like a couple really, really, really good free agent camps, man. You run into some free agent camps, man. There'd be some weird stuff that be happening when you become a pro, man. It'd be for roster spots too, man. But I had a really good one in San Antonio, man. I was tearing everybody up. It wasn't nobody specific, but everybody was getting it. But you just had those moments, and get some good ones though. You get some good ones.
Mo, I'm gonna throw the same question to you. What was that moment where you knew that you belonged?
That moment, I would say Big East tournament, my junior year. He was playing, what was that? Notre Dame. He was playing Notre Dame, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was yeah, it was a great game. Coach put me in, and we was rocking, like live. The whole game was live. I was playing good. You know what I'm saying? We ended up winning. And after that, kind of like gave me the confidence, and I was like, okay, yeah, I belong here. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge, man. Well, man, you know, we can do this forever, but I want to be a respecter of y'all time. I always try to keep the show really, man, about 75 minutes, an hour and a half, but because conversations be so genuine, they just go on, and it's education, man, you know. But in closing, man, I want to ask y'all if y'all can take us out with this question, man. And you know, again, I definitely appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart for coming on, you know, to the show. You know, everybody checking in, you know, with us, watching the show, you know, definitely plug in to the foundation. You know, I'm gonna drop the links where y'all can grab, you know, the books.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, if you're a parent and you got a student athlete that's not a 5-star recruit, but they still are looking for that right opportunity, it's not about getting a whole lot of offers. It's about becoming the person that they need to be to get that right offer, to have that right fit. And so, you know, I got my free case study, you know, down there. Y'all can tap in too. But in closing, man, how can we make basketball better? Y'all take us out.
Go ahead, Lord.
How can we make basketball better? I would say, you know, man, just focus on getting better each and every day. Tune everything else out. Tune the parents talking to you, all the social media and everything. You know, focus on what you got to do. Focus on what you got to get better at every day. and do that at 110%, and you'll be all right.
I love it. I love it.
Yep, and just to give another short one, just continuing to put in the time, man. I know there's a lot of other things going on, a lot of resources and other things needed as well, but nothing trumps that time. You got to build it up. Everything you got to do, you got to build it up from the ground with your hands. So you got to continue to put in that time no matter what, and that goes for all of us, coaches, the players helping, staff, whatever it may be, man. You got to continue to put in that time and continue to build. And as long as you're doing it there, everybody in it for the right reasons and for the love of the game and respecting the game, man, good things come out of it.
Man, I love it, man. Focus on getting better, man, and put in the time. Those are really 2 workshops. Those are like all day workshops. Just understanding, focusing on that. Justin, yeah, I understand, man. Definitely, everybody need to come holler at me, man. I want to give Coach Edgecombe a special shout out because Coach was the first coach in Illinois, right? In Illinois, they coach high school that bought a book. And that taught me something about Justin. I'm like, he's a lifelong learner. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to continue to get better. So I appreciate him for rocking with me like that, but just he always comes up with comments and different things that make people think. Yeah, but man, this has been a blast. Mo, we're gonna have to get you back on, man, to do your own set, to tell your story. Definitely, man. And
I got you, Coach.
But again, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all, reach out to me if there's any way that I can help. Y'all, foundation. Actually, I'm gonna reach out to, to both of y'all, as I said, with doing this whole disassessment, understanding what your strengths is, becoming more self-aware. Like it really helps, people. But all the athletes that I've worked with, it's really helped them tie everything together. So I'm gonna, reach out to y'all with that too, man. But in closing, y'all, I always say, keep striving for the top because it is crowded as hell at the bottom. So on behalf of myself, Maurice Acker, Jarrell Mcneal, I'm Coach Carvel Bailey, and this is Life and Basketball. And we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll see y'all on the next show. Fellas, right, I appreciate y'all, man.
I appreciate you. Thank y'all for having us, man. Yes, stay safe out here.
Yes, sir. Share this broadcast with people that y'all know that need it too.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, Coach.